Chapter 1032. When Penglai of Gojoseon and Ji Rumo asked this question, the others on the ship also felt that it was a little strange, especially the Emperor Zao in red. He was already looking at the first summoner's wound suspiciously. The first summoner's wound did not look like it could be cut by an external force. The Duqian meeting was a once-in-a-century event in Penglai. The Emperor Zao in red attached great importance to this meeting because of the gathering of the leaders of the major forces. He ordered a few summoners to be in charge of guarding various important positions in the Zao state. Thinking back, this Duqian meeting was also suggested by the first summoner, the Emperor Zao in red. Today, before the meeting, the first summoner even requested to be in charge of guarding the Zao state. However, he left his post without permission and suddenly appeared in the Penglai Sea. The whole thing sounded very suspicious. First summoner, Penglai of Gojoseon is right. You shouldn't be here. Tell me, what is going on? The red-clothed summoner looked serious. Because he is a spy, he is trying to break the seal of the volcano. An unfamiliar, majestic voice came from the sea. When the voice came, the sea that was originally calm began to boil. It was as if it had turned into lava in an instant. Plop! The bottom of the sea churned as if a volcano was erupting. The whole ship started to shake. Flames soared into the sky. Within the flames, a fire venerable that was dozens of meters tall appeared. His entire body was composed of lava and black tortoise. He had a head and a face like a stone giant. He floated in the air above the airship. The master of molten flame stared at the first summoner angrily. In a muffled voice, he told the first summoner about all the good things he had done in the past few decades. This was the guardian beast of the volcano on the Fire Island. He did not expect it to be a fire lord in human form. The Emperor Zao in red's expression changed. He did not expect the volcano seal on the Fire Island to be hidden in the deep sea. What was even more unexpected was that the number one summoner he had always trusted was actually a spy. The Emperor Zao in red's eyes turned cold when he thought about how the volcano seal was almost destroyed, how the extinct volcano almost erupted, and how the Penglai Islands were almost annihilated. He snorted coldly, and a red light flashed across the unknown demon beast's soul stone on the Emperor Zao's ring on his right hand. As soon as the flame venerable appeared, the first summoner knew that he could no longer hide the matter. He decided not to quibble anymore. Since you've seen through it, I have nothing to say. Fire supremacy, I only have one question for you. You were clearly an arrow at the end of its flight. So how did you recover so quickly? The first summoner did not panic. Dozens of years of hibernation, just when the great plan was about to succeed, it was destroyed in a single day. The first summoner looked calm, but the anger and unwillingness in his heart were like lava in the sea, churning endlessly. Right now, he only wanted to know who was the one who made things difficult for him and forced him to such a state. He thought that he had concealed it well. Even the shrewd Ji Rumo and the Emperor Zao in red were kept in the dark by him. Cunning Murloc, do you think that I will fall for it again? I will never reveal the identity of my new master. The master of molten flame did not fall for it this time. However, he was implying that his recovery had something to do with his new master. With the help of the vermilion bird totem, the master of molten flame had recovered 70 to 80% of his strength. His current strength was slightly stronger than that of the dark devil plant king anemone. His aura was enough to intimidate most of the mages and warriors. The other party was able to make a powerhouse like the master of molten flame bow down to him. One could only imagine his strength. The Emperor Zao in red's eyes lit up. The volcano seal was personally created by the Emperor Zao in red. It was rumored that only the person who had the summoning demon hand could repair the volcano seal. Could it be that the summoning demon hand that had been missing for a long time had appeared again? First summoner, on account of your many years of service to the Zao state, if you do not resist, I can spare your life. The Emperor Zao in red glared at him angrily. Haha, the Emperor Zao in red. Let me tell you, don't even think about getting a single word out of me. The first summoner's severely injured body suddenly emitted an icy blue magic power. The Emperor Zao, in red, and the others saw that the situation was not right, and quickly retreated from his ship. Not good. Leave the ship immediately. Boom! A loud sound was heard. The first summoner's body exploded and turned into dust. The entire empty ship was destroyed in an instant. When the explosion was heard, the first summoner's voice was still ringing in everyone's ears. Just you wait, humans. When the 8 wilderness beast god returns to the boundless land, you will all pay with your blood. The beast god alters his soul explosion spell. I didn't expect the first summoner to come from the core of the 8 wilderness tribe, the beast god alter. Elder Si Ming was speechless. Different from the distribution of power in the boundless land, the 8 wilderness tribe was located in the 8 wilderness continent. Other than the tribe leaders of the 8 wilderness tribes, there is another existence that was above the 8 wilderness tribe leaders. That was the 8 wilderness beast god altar. It was rumored that the 8 wilderness beast god altar was formed by 8 beast god priests. These 8 beast god priests were proficient in all kinds of ancient witchcraft spells. The soul explosion spell was one of the special spells of the beast god altar. It used a magician's magic soul or a warrior's martial soul to ignite and explode in an instant. The power of the explosion was shocking. The first summoner's hands and feet were crippled, so everyone let down their guard. If they did not dodge in time, they would have been severely injured even if they did not die. What happened? The Emperor Zao read. What kind of monster is that? The 7th summoner had just arrived with a few summoners. He did not see the first summoner explode. He only saw the master of molten flame, who was like a mirage. Don't be rude. This is the guardian of the volcano, the master of molten flame. The Emperor Zao, in red, reprimanded. The master of molten flame was the guardian of the volcano seal, which was equivalent to the guardian of Punlai. His status and identity were so high that even the redcoat summoners had to avoid him. Ignorant humans, I don't want to have anything to do with you. The master of molten flame had taken his revenge, so he could not be bothered with the people of the Zao state. A fiery figure dived into the sea. The lava on the surface of the sea disappeared, and the sea became calm again. A large number of wreckages of empty ships were floating on the surface of the sea. 7th summoner, why are you here? I didn't ask you to replace the first summoner to guard the Zao state. The Emperor Zao in red was depressed. Other than the 3 of them, everyone on the empty ship had died in the explosion. The Emperor Zao, didn't you ask a guard to tell me to come find you? The 7th summoner was supposed to replace the first summoner to guard the Zao state. However, a guard suddenly told him that the Emperor Zao in red had ordered him to immediately bring people to support the first summoner. Chapter 1033. I did not order anyone to look for you. The Emperor Zao in red was fuming with anger. Needless to say, the 7th summoner had been lured away. I want to ask you something. Did you see anything unusual on your way here? The Emperor Zao in red wanted to kill the 7th summoner with one blow. Nothing unusual. If you want to talk about something, it's just that I met Yin Yin on my way here. She's one of us, the 7th summoner said suspiciously. Who is Yin Yin? The Emperor Zao in red asked. She is a husbandry summoner that this subordinate recently hired from the summoning center. Her abilities are outstanding, and she is a holy beast husbandry master. The 7th Lord could no longer hide the fact that he had been summoned, so he had no choice but to reveal everything. The 7th summoner thought that the Emperor Zao would be happy that he had found a sacred beast tamer. Idiot! You don't even know that you've been tricked. That Yin Yin is the accomplice of the person who lured us away. Her target must be the Zao state's water prison. The Emperor Zao in red was not happy at all. He even scolded the 7th summoner. There was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Furthermore, the Emperor Zao in red had never heard of a sacred beast tamer in this world. If he guessed correctly, the sacred beast tamer Yin Yin must be the new master of the demon hand. The Emperor Zao, I didn't know anything about this, the 7th summoner said with a sad face. Oomph. Did they think that they could save someone just like that? The water prison is not that easy to break into. The Emperor Zao in red had a strange smile on his face. The Emperor Zao, in red. Don't tell me you still have a trick up your sleeve? The seventh summoner's face lit up. If anything happened to the water prison because of his stupidity, the Emperor Zao would not let him off the hook. I knew that something would happen in the next few days, and I've already ordered the ninth overseer to stand guard there. If someone really wanted to break into the prison, what awaited them was a lesson worse than death. Speaking of which, I really have to thank Junior Brother, the Emperor Zao in red said and nodded at Elder Siming. Junior Brother? The seventh summoner felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Could it be that the Emperor Zao in red and Elder Siming of the temple were actually fellow disciples? Senior Martial Brother, you're exaggerating. I only divined that a disaster would befall the Zao state. At first, I thought it was just a groundless fear. But now, it seems like the first summoner has betrayed us, and the Zao state is being attacked. A disaster is imminent. Senior Brother, how do you plan to deal with it? Chang Si-ming asked worriedly. The Dharma Temple and the Zao state were one and the same. There were countless connections between the two, but very few people knew about this secret. In the past, the Emperor Zao in red and Elder Si-ming of the temple were both orphans adopted by the Zao state. However, Elder Si-ming couldn't summon any beasts, so he was bullied in the Zao state. Thanks to Ji Rumo's help, Elder Si-ming left the Zao state and joined the Dharma Temple. He hid in the Dharma Temple for a few decades, and finally became the Elder Si-ming of the Dharma Temple with his outstanding prediction ability. All these years, Elder Si-ming had been in contact with the Dharma Temple. A while ago, Elder Si-ming observed the sky at night and discovered that the world was about to change. The direction indicated that the change was in the Zao state. He roughly guessed that the change would happen on the day of the Duqian conference, so he quickly informed the Emperor Zao in red. That was why the Emperor Zao in red had taken precautions. Follow the original plan. You and I will split into two groups. I will kill the invaders, and Junior Brother, please lead the people from the Dharma Temple to carry out the blood sacrifice earlier. The Emperor Zao in red waved his hand, and everyone flew towards the Fire Island like a meteor. The Penglai of Gojoseon and Ji Rumo stood in the air above the sea. His expression was unreadable under his jade-like mask. The moment the first summoner's soul self-destructed, a man in a red cloak in the beast god altar of the Ba Huang tribe was alerted. He was hidden under the cloak, and his face was blurred. However, his body exuded a wild aura, and there was a sense of urgency in the air, as if a storm was coming. A woman in a similar cloak walked in. Big Brother, the eighth priest. Old 8 has fallen, damn humans. Under the cloak, only a pair of beastly eyes could be seen. The first summoner was the highest-ranked person sent out by the Ba Huang continent. Before he sneaked into the Boundless continent, he was the 8th priest of the beast god altar. His existence was unknown to the other tribes of the Ba Huang continent. The 8 priests of the beast god altar were as close as brothers. When the first summoner used the soul explosion technique, he was prepared to die together with the enemy. At the same time, he used the last of his strength to use his life as a signal to inform the other priests. We must avenge the 8th priest. Order the 8 main tribes to gather their forces and attack the Duqian blood seal. Yes, High Priest. The beast soul explosion technique was a suicidal technique, and, at the same time, a special technique to warn others. The death of the first main summoner had completely infuriated Beast God Altar. The 8 Wastelands continent instantly became turbulent. The 8 great tribes gathered their people in half a day and charged towards Bloody Sky, Metropolis Jia. After a few thousand years, the conflict between the Boundless Continent and the Ba Huang continent erupted once again. This time, the crisis had an impact on Yinsheng. She did not expect this. Before she planned to kill the first summoner, Yinsheng did not know that the first summoner was from the Beast God Altar. She also did not know that the Dharma Temple and the Zao State had formed an alliance. After receiving the 7th summoner's order, Yinsheng went to the Zao State's water prison. After showing the order token, she entered the water prison smoothly. After entering the water prison, Yun Sheng realized that the water prison was very big and was divided into many levels. For a moment, Yun Sheng did not know why her father wanted her to go to the water prison. Just as Yun Sheng was searching, a familiar voice called out to her. Yun Sheng was alerted and gripped the magic scepter in her hand tightly. Sheng-er! Yun Sheng heaved a sigh of relief when she heard the familiar voice behind her. Father! Yun Sheng turned around. It was his daughter's voice, but why did she look like? Yin Songhai also took off his mask and revealed his face. The father and daughter had not seen each other for many years. Who would have thought that they would meet again in the Zhao State's water prison after parting at the Jade capital? Sheng-er, what happened to you? Where is Yi Baiming? Yin Songhai looked at his daughter from head to toe. Yun Sheng was still dressed as Yin Yin. Yun Songhai recognized Yun Sheng because of the tacit understanding between the father and daughter. Now that she was in the water prison, the Emperor Zhao, in red, and the others could come back at any time. Time was of the essence, so Yun Sheng could not explain more to Yun Songhai. Yun Sheng immediately thought, Father, I will tell you more about this another day. Have you heard of a woman named Hu Sheng in the past few years in Penglai? She is the saintess of the celestial fox people. She was captured by the Zhao state a long time ago. She looks like me and is easy to recognize. Chapter 1034. Yun Sheng saw that her father was wearing a prison guard's uniform. She guessed that after her father left Tianyi City, he must have been lurking in Penglai for the past few years. She just didn't know if he and her mother had met. Sheng-er, I asked you to come to the water dungeon to tell you that the woman named Hu Sheng is imprisoned in the water dungeon. Moreover, she was caught by your mother and the second lord. The person they wanted to catch was originally you, but because she looked like you, she was caught by mistake. I should have told you this long ago, but I was worried about your safety, so I didn't tell you. Yin Songhai looked remorseful. It's true. Hu Sheng was caught because of me. Father, you're too muddle-headed. After Yin Sheng learned the truth, she felt even more guilty for Hu Sheng. You'd better go and see that girl. She's very haggard these days and doesn't want to eat. No matter how I persuade her, it's useless. Yin Songhai looked at Hu Sheng's appearance and felt sad. Hu Sheng and Yun Sheng looked exactly the same, but Hu Sheng's temperament was very different from his daughter's. What kind of past did that child experience to make her look like she had nothing to live for? Father, I don't blame you. Take me to see her. Yin Sheng could understand her father's thoughts. As a parent, he would not hesitate to turn into an evil spirit for his children. However, Hu Jiuxing pretended not to know and made the best of it. She caught Hu Sheng to take the blame. Did this mean that in Hu Jiuxing's heart, she still cared about her biological relationship with her daughter? Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai immediately found the cell where Hu Sheng was. The conditions of the cell were very poor. The wounds on Hu Sheng's hands and feet were festering. Yun Sheng saw this and became even more resentful. What a Zhao state! How could they use such a heavy punishment on a weak woman? Hu Sheng, we're here to save you. Yun Sheng called out softly. In the cell, Hu Sheng did not move. Perhaps it was because she had not eaten for a long time. Hu Sheng seemed to have fainted. She lay on the ground motionlessly, her long black hair covering her face. There were streaks of blood on her prison clothes, and a rat scurried past her. Yin Sheng did not give him a chance to explain. Her magic scepter flashed, and a bolt of lightning struck the prison cell's chains. The chains broke, and Yun Sheng kicked open the cell door. She was just about to open the cell door, walk in, and help Hu Sheng up. The moment Yun Sheng leaned over, her eyebrows twitched as if she had sensed something. With an unprecedented sense of crisis, Yun Sheng subconsciously used her demon steps. Just as she took a step forward, the biting cold wind blade brushed past her face. There was a burning pain on her face, and a red scar appeared on her face. Sheng-er, be careful. Yun Songhai realized that the person in the cell was not Hu Sheng. The woman who had been crawling on the ground stood up and tore off the wig on her head and the prison clothes on her body. Because of the woman's appearance, the dim prison cell suddenly brightened up a little. It was a face so beautiful that it made people tremble. Even if there was no smile on the woman's face, she was still as beautiful as a blooming rose. Her beautiful eyes were dazzling, and there was a hint of beauty in her charm. The ninth lord of the Zao state, summoner Hu Jiuxing. At the same time, many summoners suddenly barged into the originally empty prison cell. The real Hu Sheng's limbs were shackled. She was escorted out by 2 summoners. Yin Sheng, why are you here? You shouldn't have come. Hu Sheng was agitated and wanted to walk over, but he was restrained by the 2 summoners and couldn't move. The Hu Sheng in the cell was actually Hu Jiuxing in disguise. Yin Songhai, how can you do this to Sheng-er? She's our daughter. Yin Songhai was furious. He didn't expect that Hu Jiuxing would actually be hiding in the dark. Father, don't say anything more. Mother is a little strange. Yun Sheng was keenly aware that Hu Jiuxing was a little different from the last time she saw her. Today, her face was as cold as ice. Set off by her silver-white hair, her red lips were as red as blood, and her eyes were filled with bloodthirsty, murderous intent. It was as if she didn't recognize Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai at all. This Hu Jiuxing was not the Hu Jiuxing that Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai had met earlier. Her entire person was shrouded in a murderous aura, like a bloody Rakshasa from hell. Those who trespass into the water prison will be killed without mercy. Hu Jiuxing's lips burst out a sentence. These words caused the hearts of Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai to tremble. Her eyes were cold and emotionless as she looked at Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai. She was now like a killing machine. This morning, the Emperor Zao in red called her over. After she came back, she couldn't remember anything. In her mind, only this sentence was repeated over and over again. Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai in front of her were strangers to her. Yun Songhai gritted his teeth and quickly scanned the surroundings. Sheng-er, I'll be in charge of delaying your mother. You take Hu Sheng and leave immediately. Yun Songhai knew that he had fallen into the Emperor Zao in Red's trap. Time was tight. If he didn't let his daughter escape quickly, Yun Sheng and Hu Sheng would both be in danger once the Emperor Zao in Red returned. Yun Songhai was well aware of Yun Sheng's strength. Other than Hu Jiuxing, the other summoners were no match for Yun Sheng. No, father. Take Hu Sheng and leave. Leave mother to me. Yun Sheng shook her head. Her mother, Hu Jiuxing, was a summoner. Yun Sheng had seen her strength a long time ago. Now that she had lost her humanity, she was too dangerous. Yun Sheng was afraid that she would do something that she would regret for the rest of her life. There's no need to refuse. Both of you have to stay. Hu Jiuxing sneered and raised her hand. Space-time prohibition. She chanted. Gray magical waves gushed out from the magic scepter in her hand. In an instant, Yun Sheng and Yun Songhai felt their bodies become sluggish. They couldn't move. Just as the space-time prohibition was about to take effect, a green fog suddenly filled the cell. The poisonous fog caught the summoners of the Zao state off guard. It was Abandon's poisonous fog. Yun Sheng's hands and feet immediately regained their freedom. She took out a few elixirs that she had prepared beforehand and had her father, Hu Sheng, and the others take them immediately. Yin Sheng, we're here to help you. Just then, Abandon and Goofing rushed in. Before the Duqing conference, Yin Sheng had already discussed with Abandon and Gufeng. They had already sneaked into the Zao state and hid in the water prison. When Hu Sheng saw Abandon, his eyes lit up. You two, escort Hu Sheng out of here first. Father, and I will meet up with him. Yin Sheng and her father looked at each other. They both knew that today was the best chance to take Hu Jiuxing away. If they missed this chance, they might not have another chance in the future. The next few chapters were the most difficult to write. It was very difficult to write. Let Big Fuzi sort out first. Tot. Chapter 1035. She hesitated for a moment and looked at Yun Sheng worriedly. After receiving the latter's encouraging gaze, he gritted his teeth and rushed out of the cell, with Gu Feng supporting Hu Sheng. Leave him behind. Hu Jiuxing immediately took a pill. When the poisonous fog in the cell dissipated, she saw that Hu Sheng was long gone. She immediately flew into a rage. Her murderous aura was dense. She jumped a few times like a hungry wolf pouncing on a tiger. wanting to chase after Qi and Gufeng. "Father, I'll leave the others to you. I'll deal with Mother," Yun Sheng said as she rushed towards Hu Jiuxing like a swift and fierce falcon. Yun Sheng had the night demon footwork and the blessing of the wind spirit. Her movement technique was very agile. She was extremely fast and rushed all the way. Suddenly, she blocked Hu Jiuxing. As she rushed, rows of dark thorns rose from the ground and formed a thorny barrier, blocking Hu Jiuxing's path. "Do you think you can trap me with such petty tricks?" Hu Jiuxing's gaze turned sharp. "Break!" Between her slender fingers, there was a whistling sound. It was as if a golden spear or an iron sword had slashed through the dark thorns. The dark brambles were instantly cut into several pieces as if they were rice being cut. But just as Hu Jiuxing broke the dark thorns attack, space-time prohibition, Yin Sheng had already cast her next spell. Yin Sheng had seen Hu Jiuxing's magic before. She knew that ordinary magic would not be able to stop Hu Jiuxing. Before Hu Jiuxing could react, her body was petrified and could not move. She did not expect that Yun Sheng would also know space-time forbidden magic. Unlike 3 or 4 years ago, Yun Sheng was no longer a master magician who had just learned the forbidden magic. Now, her space-time prohibition could last for about 15 minutes. In this 15 minutes, Qi and Hu Sheng had enough time to escape from the Zao state. At the same time, many summoners who were lying in ambush outside the water prison rushed in. Most of them had summoned beasts with them. The magic scepters in their hands flashed with dazzling magic light. Yun Songhai watched as Yun Sheng blocked Hu Jiuxing and faced the group of summoners. The summoners and beasts formed a circle inside and outside. Each of them looked fierce. After getting into an attacking formation, they rushed towards Yun Songhai. Yun Songhai raised his magic scepter high. On top of the scepter, 6 magic soul stones suddenly lit up. Yin Songhai's figure was tall and imposing. At this moment, the soul stone on the magic staff in his hand was like fresh blood. This scene was so familiar to Yin Sheng. 18 years ago, when she transmigrated into the body of a newborn baby, her father, Yin Songhai, also used a similar magic. But this time, her father's cultivation, burning hell slash. In the dim dungeon, countless flames surged towards Yun Songhai. The twisting and churning flames quickly turned into a huge flaming sword. Yun Songhai brandished the raging inferno demonic blade in his hand. Wherever the blade passed, it drew out streaks of indestructible flames. When those summoners and magical beasts touched those flames, they let out miserable cries. There was a burnt smell in the air like that of roasted meat. Screams and cries filled the air. In an instant, the dungeon seemed to have become a purgatory on earth. Yun Songhai's flames were powerful, but they were no threat to Yun Sheng, who had the hellfire of the elves. Yun Sheng's eyes lit up when she saw that her father was unstoppable. She could see clearly that her father's cultivation had improved a lot compared to when he was in the Jade Capital. 6 soul stones. Yin Sheng was overjoyed. She knew that her father, Yun Songhai, had also broken through in the past few years. Before Yun Sheng and Yi Baiming appeared, Yun Songhai was considered one of the few magical geniuses in Zhou State. If he had not been persecuted by the Zhou State, his achievements would not have stopped at where he was today. When Yun Sheng first came to the Boundless Land, Yun Songhai was a sky magician. He was only in his 20s at that time. But because of the strange poison in his body, Yun Songhai's magical cultivation had been declining for a long time. The stage from a sky magician to a sanctuary guardian king was a threshold for countless magicians in the mainland. Some people could not even break through in their lifetime. Yun Songhai originally thought that he had no hope of becoming a sanctuary guardian king in this lifetime. But he did not expect that his daughter, Yun Sheng, would actually be able to find the spring of life. After the spring of life removed the beast blood curse on Yun Songhai's body, not only did it remove the poison in Yun Songhai's body, but it also directly evolved Yun Songhai's Dharma soul. 2 years ago, it even allowed Yun Songhai to break through from a sky magician to a sanctuary guardian king. Yun Songhai could be considered to have profited from a disaster. Jiuxing, no matter what you become, you are still my wife. Yin Songhai's gaze was extremely determined. He stared at Hu Jiuxing with a burning gaze, as if he wanted to see through her. That's right, mother. Our family of three will always be together. Father, and I will never give up on you. Yin Sheng also said resolutely. Hu Jiuxing only felt a surge of heat in her throat. Something flashed in her mind. There was once a man who solemnly told her that he would take care of her for the rest of her life. Some images in her mind became clearer and clearer. Jiuxing, I, Yin Songhai, swear that I will take care of you and our child for the rest of my life. If you give birth to a son, call him Yun Sheng. If you give birth to a daughter, call her Yin Songhai. The man's handsome face was full of anticipation. Yin Songhai, Yin Sheng, they were his family. Father, mother seems to have thought of something. Yin Sheng saw that Hu Sheng's appearance was a little different. Shenger, what are you going to do? Yin Songhai was still a little wary. Don't worry, father. I have a way to control mother. Yin Sheng had seen similar symptoms before. At this time, Hu Jiuxing was like a patient with schizophrenia. There should be two personalities in her heart now. One was the personality of Hu Jiuxing that had not yet disappeared, and the other was the personality that was controlled by the Emperor Zhao in Red's heart crystal. These two personalities were constantly mixing, making Hu Jiuxing unable to distinguish which one was the real her. On one hand, she wanted to reunite with Yun Sheng and Yin Songhai, but on the other hand, she was under the control of the Emperor Zhao in Red, and it was difficult for her to control herself. What Yin Sheng wanted to do now was to boldly give it a try. Yin Sheng wanted to use the Celestial Fox clan's corpse puppet technique to try and control her mother, Hu Jiuxing. If she could make the power of the corpse puppet technique surpass that of the heart crystal, then her mother would be able to break free from the Emperor Zhao in Red's control. Yin Sheng removed the space-time restriction and walked step by step towards Hu Jiuxing. Hu Jiuxing, who was immersed in her memories, did not show any repulsion towards Yin Sheng's approach. Mother, look at me. Yin Sheng's voice was like a feather, softly falling into Hu Jiuxing's ears. Hu Jiuxing was at a loss. She raised her head and looked at Yin Sheng. Chapter 1036. The corpse puppet technique was the witchcraft of the Celestial Fox people that Yin Sheng had learned after entering the Celestial Fox tomb. It was the witchcraft that the Celestial Fox people was most proficient in. At first glance, the corpse puppet technique didn't sound very powerful. It wasn't a magic spell or a battle technique. However, only those who had learned the corpse puppet technique would know how terrifying the corpse puppet technique was. The corpse puppet technique was divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced stages. They corresponded to the 3 stages of proficiency, and expertise. Proficiency allowed one to control ordinary people. The learning time was about 1 to 5 years. Proficiency allowed one to control people or magical beasts that were weaker than oneself. The learning time was about 5 to 20 years. Only proficiency allowed one to surpass one's level and control people that were equal to or stronger than oneself. To reach the level of expertise required at least 20 years of cultivation. According to the stone tablet in the Celestial Fox tomb, Hu Yin was proficient in the corpse puppet technique. She had even used the corpse puppet technique to instantly kill a martial emperor. Yin Sheng had only learned the corpse puppet technique for less than 5 years. However, when she was cultivating, she accidentally discovered that the corpse puppet technique was unexpectedly compatible with the Yin family Shenong Ai. Cultivating the two as one allowed her to achieve twice the results with half the effort. Therefore, even though Yun Sheng had only learned the corpse puppet technique for less than 5 years, she had already reached proficiency in it. However, even though she had reached proficiency, Yin Sheng could only use the corpse puppet technique to control warriors or magicians that were weaker than herself. Furthermore, she couldn't maintain the technique for more than 6 hours. Previously, Yin Sheng had indeed used the technique a few times, and it was very effective. However, those targets were only average warriors or magicians. However, it was different this time. Yin Sheng was going to use the corpse puppet technique on her own mother. As the 9th summoner of the Zhao state, Hu Jiusheng was much stronger than the seventh summoner that Yunsheng had previously fought. Her cultivation was also slightly higher than Yunsheng's. Yunsheng didn't know how effective the corpse puppet technique would be on her. Yunsheng's ethereal voice fell into Hu Jiusheng's ears, giving her the illusion that she was in the clouds. "Mother, I'm Yunsheng. Father and I are here to find you. Let's go home together," Yunsheng whispered as if she was coaxing a child. "No, my home is in the Zhao state." Hu Jiusheng shook her head. She was like a lost child. "The Zhao state is not your home. It was the Emperor Zhao in red who used his heart to control you." Yunsheng was not discouraged and continued to guide her patiently. Yin Songhai was also anxious as he stared at his wife. He wanted to go forward, but he was afraid that he would scare Hu Jiusheng, so he could only wait anxiously at the side. "Jiusheng, what are you hesitating for? Kill these people." Just as Yunsheng's corpse puppet technique was getting better, the Emperor Zhao in red suddenly appeared in the dungeon. Seeing Hu Jiusheng's appearance, the Emperor Zhao in red was terrified. He took out a heart crystal. Seeing the heart crystal, Hu Jiusheng, who had lost her ability to resist, suddenly had her eyes turn red. "Mother, look at me. Don't worry about the heart crystal. I know you recognize me in Father. Wake up. For the past 10 years, Father and I have been waiting for you to come back. We have always been waiting for you." Yunsheng suddenly grabbed Hu Jiusheng's arms. Her black eyes had turned golden. Hu Jiusheng stared at the pair of golden eyes in front of her. She felt as if her head was being pierced by needles. It was painful. "No, don't force me." Hu Jiusheng held her head in pain. Seeing Hu Jiusheng in pain, Yun Songhai and the Emperor Zhao in red couldn't help but step forward at the same time. "Mother, come back." Yunsheng's pupil shrank. She couldn't help but tighten her grip on Hu Jiusheng's hands. The power of the Jade Marrow technique in her body was forced into Hu Jiusheng's body. Almost at the same time, there was a bang sound. The heart crystal in the Emperor Zhao in red's hand exploded. The sharp fragments of the heart crystal caused the Emperor Zhao in red's hand to bleed. The Emperor Zhao in red couldn't believe that the heart crystal had exploded. Hu Jiusheng, who had lost control of the heart crystal's power, blacked out and fainted in Yunsheng's arms. Jiusheng. Seeing that Hu Jiusheng had fainted, the two men who were deeply in love with Hu Jiusheng looked worried. At the same time, they also noticed each other. "Yin Songhai, you're still alive. If I had known earlier, I would have killed you myself 18 years ago." The Emperor Zhao in red regretted not killing Yin Songhai and his bastard child. If he hadn't been concerned about his identity as the Emperor Zhao, or if he hadn't believed in the effects of the beast blood curse, this wouldn't have happened today. The Emperor Zhao in red, "You despicable and shameless person. You first cast the beast blood curse on me, then used the heart crystal to control Jiusheng. Today I, Yin Songhai, will take revenge even if I have to risk my life." The man in front of him was the main culprit who had caused his family of 3 to suffer for so many years. "Haha, Yin Songhai, what right do you have to fight with me? In terms of character, appearance, power, and influence, you can't compare to me in any of them. The only thing I lost to you in is that I am Jiusheng's master. If Jiusheng hadn't been afraid of my master-disciple relationship, she would never have married you," the Emperor Zhao in red said disdainfully. He had always believed that Hu Jiusheng had only chosen Yin Songhai because she had been deceived by him. Back then, he had confessed his feelings to Hu Jiusheng, but Hu Jiusheng had rejected him on the grounds that they were master and disciple and that the world wouldn't tolerate it. "You're wrong. My mother has never liked you." The Emperor Zhao in red, "You don't have to lie to yourself. If my mother had even the slightest bit of love for you, you wouldn't have used the heart crystal to control her," the woman next to him sneered. Yunsheng's words stung the Emperor Zhao in red. Yunsheng was right. Back then, the Emperor Zhao in red had painstakingly captured Hu Jiusheng and brought her back to the Zhao state. He had tried to persuade her nicely, thinking that Hu Jiusheng would accept him. Who would have thought that Hu Jiusheng wouldn't even say a word to him? She only had hatred for the Zhao state and the Emperor Zhao in red. She hated the Zhao state and the Emperor Zhao in red for killing so many blood cloud beasts. She hated the Zhao state for killing her foster parents. You're that vile spawn. The Emperor Zhao in red stared at Yin Sheng. You're that shameless Emperor Zhao. Yin Sheng raised her eyebrows. Bah, one old man. Although he had taken good care of himself, Yin Sheng had heard that the Emperor Zhao in red was of the same generation as the first summoner and Elder Siming. He was at least 60 or 70 years old. He was old enough to be her mother's father. How dare he have designs on her beautiful mother? How dare you insult I? The Emperor Zhao in red was one of the strongest people in both the Zhao state and the Wuji continent. No one had ever insulted him in such a tone. So what if I'm insulting you? You broke up a family and stole someone's wife. You shameless old man. You're not worthy of being Emperor Zhao. Yin Sheng's words were sharp. The Emperor Zhao in red was so angry that his face turned green and white. Chapter 1037. Just as the Emperor Zhao in red was about to explode with anger, many of the Zhao state's main summoners and summoners, including the seventh summoner, arrived at the scene. The Emperor Zhao in red was on his way back to the Zhao state with everyone. The Emperor Zhao in red suddenly felt that the heart crystal on his body was boiling hot. This heart crystal was what the Emperor Zhao in red usually used to control Hu Jiuxing. If the heart crystal was abnormal, it meant that something had happened to Hu Jiuxing. The Emperor Zhao in red was concerned about Hu Jiuxing's safety, so he left everyone behind and rushed over. Emperor Zhao, she's Yin Yun. The seventh summoner pointed at Yun Sheng. Idiot, her name isn't Yin Yun. She's Yin Sanhai's bastard child, Yun Sheng. Seeing that the seventh summoner was still not enlightened, Emperor Zhao wanted to execute him immediately. Isn't that the traitor, Hu Jiuxing? Why is she here? The seventh summoner glanced at the unconscious woman in Yin Yun's arms. The seventh summoner wanted to swallow his own tongue. At the same time, he recognized the summoner's robe that Hu Jiuxing was wearing. It was the ninth summoner's robe. Hu Jiuxing was infamous in the Zhao state. She was originally the Emperor Zhao in red's most valued disciple. She was so powerful that the Emperor Zhao in red even wanted to make an exception for her and promote her to a main summoner. However, almost 20 years ago, Hu Jiuxing betrayed the Emperor Zhao in one night. She even killed a main summoner who was on a mission with her. Since then, the Zhao state had issued an order to kill her. It was rumored that after she was captured 18 years ago, she was executed by the Emperor Zhao in red. Who would have thought that not only did she not die, but she also stayed in the Zhao state as the ninth summoner all these years? Everyone in the Zhao state knew that the ninth summoner was favored by the Emperor Zhao in red. However, because of the Emperor Zhao in red's power, no one in the Zhao state dared to say anything. However, when they saw the ninth summoner's face, they realized that the ninth summoner was actually thinking about the past, the Emperor Zhao's love for Hu Jiuxing. Could it be that the Emperor Zhao? No one dared to think further. For a moment, everyone was silent. The Emperor Zhao, if the woman in front of us is the bastard child of Yin Sanhai and Hu Jiuxing, then who is the woman in the water prison? Someone asked in a hoarse voice. It doesn't matter who it is. The only path left for that woman is death. The red-robed Zhao Wang suddenly chuckled. His words made Yun Sheng feel uneasy. Why did the Emperor Zhao in red look so confident? Logically speaking, Hu Sheng should have safely left Penglai under the cover of goofing and abandoned. Yin Sheng, bad news. Hu Sheng has been captured. Sister Lan appeared in front of Yun Sheng with wounds all over her body. Didn't I ask Gu Feng and abandon to send Hu Sheng away? When Yun Sheng heard this, her mind went blank. It turned out that after Yun Sheng stalled Hu Jiuxing, Gu Feng and abandoned took Hu Sheng and escaped from his Zhao state. Along the way, Lan and Dongwang Ling who were already prepared, were also in charge of providing support. Just as the five of them reached the estuary of Penglai, something unexpected happened. We encountered Elder Si Ming from the Temple of Law. He and a group of sorcerers from the Temple of Law attacked us. Both abandoned and I were injured. Gu Feng and Ling were slightly better, but they were also lightly injured. Hu Sheng was also taken away. Gu Feng and Ling chased after them. I rushed over to report the news. Yin Sheng and Sister Lan had known each other for a long time. Other than that time in the Dutian blood realm, she had never seen her sister suffer such serious injuries. Haha, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. You definitely didn't expect that Elder Si Ming from the Temple of Law is Ai's junior brother. I have already investigated the identity of the woman called Hu Sheng that you mentioned. She should be the celestial fox people from the 8 Desolation tribe, the celestial fox saintess from the Boundless Continent. The Emperor Zhao in red was not completely unsuspicious of the identity of Yun Sheng in the water prison. This was because he had long heard that Yun Sheng from the Zhou state was not a kind person. After all, this woman had inherited the blood of Hu Jiuxing and Yun Songhai. Back then, this woman had single-handedly uprooted the continent's #1 medical center, the Medicine Emperor Pavilion. She was also the deputy commander of the Heaven Extermination Hunting Corps. When she was in Skywing City, she had even received the title of Combat King. On the other hand, the woman in the water prison had no redeeming qualities other than her stubbornness. Therefore, the Emperor Zhao in red ordered people to investigate her identity. Combining the information sent by the spies from the 8 Desolation tribe, the Emperor Zhao in red deduced that the Yun Sheng in the water prison was the saintess of the celestial fox people. Although she was not Yun Sheng, she was a pure descendant of the celestial fox. Compared to the mixed-blood Yun Sheng, she was more suitable for the blood sacrifice. The Emperor Zhao in red had not killed Hu Sheng in the past 3 years partly because he was waiting for an opportunity. He was waiting for the real Yun Sheng to walk into his trap. He was also waiting for the Dutian blood seal to collapse and for the Zhao state to appear in front of the world as the savior of the continent. Although there was an interlude with the first summoning, at least things were not completely out of his expectations. Yun Sheng and her father finally appeared. What do you want to do to Hu Sheng? Yun Sheng was burning with anxiety. She did not expect that her rescue this time would put her good friend and Hu Sheng in danger. Even Sister Lan could not stop Chang Si Ming. Even if Ling, and Goofing caught up with Chang Si Ming, they would not have a chance to rescue Hu Sheng. Of course, we will use them for the blood sacrifice to redraw the Dutian blood seal. However, before you care about the safety of others, shouldn't you care about your own life? I heard that you are an outstanding sacred beast tamer. I will give you a choice. You and your mother will submit to the Zhao state. If you do, I will spare your lives. The Emperor Zhao in red held 2 heart crystals in his hand. The Emperor Zhao in red was very sharp. He noticed that Yun Sheng was the main reason why Hu Jiuxing lost control. As long as he subdued Yun Sheng, it would not be difficult to control Hu Jiuxing again. Moreover, after the Duqing conference, the Zhao state had lost a lot of people. If he could recruit a sacred beast tamer to the Zhao state, it would be very beneficial for the Zhao state's recovery. Dream on, Ji Fong. As long as I, Yin Songhai, am around, you will not be able to touch a single strand of their hair. Yin Songhai shielded his wife and daughter, hiding them behind him. 18 years ago, he was almost ruined by Ji Fong. This time, he would absolutely not allow history to repeat itself. When the Emperor Zhao in red noticed the soul stone on Yun Songhai's magic scepter, he could not help but be stunned. He did not expect that Yun Songhai would be able to break through after being inflicted with the beast blood curse. Your courage is commendable, but you have no brains. You are just a mere magician. You are not strong enough to fight against me, Emperor Zhao. The Emperor Zhao in red rubbed the Emperor Zhao ring on his hand. Then, do you dare to fight with me? Yun Sheng's cold and arrogant voice rang in the Emperor Zhao in red's ears. Everyone has a monthly vote. Remember to vote. Chapter 1038. You dare. You still don't dare. Yun Sheng's words were loud and clear. Yun Sheng wanted to fight, and she wanted to end it as soon as possible. Hu Sheng had been captured and could be used as a blood sacrifice at any time. She was in a very dangerous situation. Yunsheng did not have time to waste. If she was forced into a corner, she would not hesitate to summon the demon hand and fight the Emperor Zhao in red. As long as she defeated the Emperor Zhao in red, the Zhao state would be leaderless and it would be easy to break through. However, Yunsheng's words were like a slap to the Emperor Zhao in red's ears. The red-robed Summoner King's expression changed. The gazes of the other summoners beside him also changed as they looked at Yunsheng. Other than the seventh main summoner, the rest of the main summoners looked at Yunsheng as if they were looking at a corpse. This woman actually dared to challenge the Emperor Zhao in red. For decades, ever since the Emperor Zhao in red inherited the throne of Emperor Zhao, no one had dared to speak to him like this. Not to mention, she was just a young girl who was still wet behind the ears. Even the mayor of Grand Emperor City, who possessed the green dragon totem, did not dare to challenge the Emperor Zhao in red directly. Yunsheng, the Emperor Zhao, cherished talents. Don't be so shameless. Your father is not worthy, and you are even more unworthy. The Emperor Zhao in red squeezed these words out from between his teeth. On the mainland, summoners had a natural sense of superiority over mages and warriors. The reason was that summoners could summon magic beasts. The red-coat summoner emperor, Ji Feng, even if he did not summon magic beasts, his strength was already at the level of mage god. Not to mention, the magical beasts he could summon were legendary beasts. He was also the only summoner on the mainland who could directly summon legendary beasts. Yunsheng's challenge to him was like lighting a lamp in the toilet. She was courting death. Someone once said the same thing to me, but after saying it, he died. The Emperor Zhao, in red, also recognized that person. He was the mayor of Grand Emperor City, Xian Citian. Yunsheng sneered. There was a clear sound of people gasping. The main summoners, including the Emperor Zhao in red, changed their expressions slightly. The death of the mayor of Grand Emperor City, Xian Citian, was not a secret on the mainland. However, the rumor on the mainland was that he was killed by Yuan Buqi in the region of Great Zhou because of internal strife in the city. However, from Yunsheng's words, did not mean that Xian Citian was killed by her. In reality, Xian Citian was killed by the Golden Qilin. However, his totem, the Azure Dragon, was indeed subdued by Yunsheng. Therefore, in a sense, Xian Citian was killed by Yunsheng. Although Xian Citian's magical beast was not an orthodox mythical beast, the Azure Dragon totem possessed the power of a god. Could it be that this girl who looked to be around 17 or 18 years old was actually a summoner with astonishing talent? The Emperor Zhao in red could not help but feel a chill run down his spine. Aren't you afraid that your boasting will be exposed? If Xian Citian died in the hands of a silly girl like you, that would be the biggest joke in the world. Just you alone, any one of us main summoners can kill you. The main summoners were shocked at first, but they quickly calmed down. Indeed, Yunsheng had not summoned any magical beasts up until now. Moreover, Xian Citian's totem, the Azure Dragon, was a sub-mythical beast. In order to kill a sub-mythical beast, Yunsheng would have to master at least one type of god-slaying magic. The god-slaying magic had been missing from the Boundless Continent for many years. At Yunsheng's age, it was already very difficult for her to master a super magic, let alone a god-slaying magic that did not even exist in the Boundless Continent. Of course, everyone thought that Yunsheng was boasting. Everyone burst into laughter. But at this moment, a golden figure flashed past. Accompanying the appearance of that golden figure was a strange sound that sounded like thunder or the whistling of swords. The laughter stopped abruptly. The main summoners only felt as if there was a flash of fire in front of them, like a bolt of lightning. In the next moment, they felt a sharp pain in their waists. Then, several streams of hot blood spurted out like a flood. The Emperor Zhao in red and Yun Songhai shuddered as if they had seen a ghost. Only Yunsheng's eyes flashed with joy. In an instant, many of the main summoners who were mocking Yunsheng were sliced in half from the waist down to the upper part of their legs. Without exception, all of them were sliced in half at the waist. And the attack that killed them was the attack of that golden figure. The golden light disappeared in an instant and landed beside the summoner, Yin Yun. The moment it landed, the Emperor Zhao, in red, and Yun Songhai finally saw it clearly. It was a demonic beast that was as graceful as a leopard and as strong as a lion. Its body was reddish gold in color, and it had a pair of golden eyes that even the sun paled in comparison. It first walked to Yun Sheng's side and gently held her hand with its mouth. Then it raised its head and looked at the Emperor Zhao, in red, and the seventh main summoner who was hiding behind the Emperor Zhao, in red. That expression seemed to be saying that there was only one outcome for those who mocked her. The red-robed main summoner's face froze. The disdain that he had felt earlier had vanished. He had thought that the father and daughter of the Yun family were at the end of their rope. He did not expect that they would have such a reinforcement. In an instant, the main summoners in front of him turned from living humans into corpses that could not be any more dead. What kind of monster was that? It seemed to be a demonic beast, but there were no signs of a contract on its body. Also, what was the meaning of its gaze? Even demonic beasts were so arrogant these days. Yin Songhai was also dumbfounded. There were still traces of blood on the right forelimb of the golden demonic beast. Just now, this golden demonic beast had used its right forelimb to kill several main summoners. One move. It had only used one move. How was this a demonic beast? It was simply a killing machine that had returned from hell. What made Yin Songhai even more unacceptable was that this unknown beast was very close to his daughter. When his daughter saw it, a smile appeared on her face. She looked even happier than when his daughter had seen him, her biological father. Yun Songhai could not help but feel a little sour in his heart. When Yun Sheng saw the gold coin, she was also pleasantly surprised. She could not help but scratch the golden demonic beast's chin with her hand. The latter let out a low growl that was very comfortable. Before Yun Sheng came to participate in the Dutian summit, she had left baby sheep and the gold coin at the Great Zhou Embassy. After waiting for a while, the gold coin could not help but come to find Yun Sheng. Following Yun Sheng's scent, it found the water prison. Unexpectedly, it happened to see several main summoners ridiculing Yun Sheng together. Since when did these useless people have the right to ridicule his woman? Why is there another one? Wasn't there a black demonic beast earlier? The seventh main summoner was scared witless. If he had not been smart enough to hide at the side earlier, he would have been a corpse now. A black demonic beast? The Emperor Zhao, in red, was shocked. He suddenly realized that Yun Sheng had more than one demonic beast. Chapter 1039. In the blink of an eye, several main summoners had been killed. The opponent's demonic beast strength was unfathomable. Moreover, it was said that Yun Sheng had other demonic beasts in her hands. Emperor Zhao, what's going on? Just as the main summoners were killed, the leaders of the major forces who were participating in the Dutian conference arrived. Earlier, Divine Wind and Dugu Xiu were fighting fiercely in the sky. Dugu Xiu had fought with him for hundreds of times, but he realized that Divine Wind had no intention of fighting with him. He was suspicious. At this moment, a golden light flew towards the Zhao state. The golden light was fast, but Dugu Xiu recognized it at a glance. It was the unknown golden demonic beast that had been following Yun Sheng. That golden demonic beast gave Dugu Xiu a strange feeling. It was almost inseparable from Yun Sheng. Dugu Xiu swept his gaze over the crowd of spectators and suddenly discovered that the few people led by Yun Sheng were all missing. Could it be that something had happened to Yun Sheng? Dugu Xiu suddenly realized. He gritted his teeth in hatred. He had been tricked by Yun Sheng again. Divine Wind, how dare you trick me? You don't want to fight with me at all. I don't want to fight with you. Dugu Xiu didn't want to fight anymore. His figure flashed, and like a meteor, he flew towards the Zhao state. Divine Wind had been waiting for Yun Sheng for a long time. He was a little worried, so he followed Dugu Xiu and went towards the Zhao state. Li Cheng and the vice president of the Hunters Guild looked at each other. How could they meet after this mess? The two of them could only bite the bullet and follow the two of them to the Zhao state. The situation in the water dungeon stunned the four people who had just arrived. The main summoners had died tragically. They had been beheaded at the waist, and the ground was covered with dirty blood. Obviously, there had been a fierce battle earlier. However, who was the one who did this? The Emperor Zao in Red's face was pale. On the other side, there was an ordinary-looking woman with a majestic golden beast. Behind the woman, a man was holding a beautiful woman. Lan from a mainland's magic elite camp was also standing with them. Yin Yin, Miracle Dr. Yin, why are you here? The Crown Prince of Tang Yuan, Li Cheng, recognized the ordinary-looking woman with a single glance. She was the imperial hand of Tang Yuan, Yin Yin, who had saved his mother before. Everyone, this woman is the Ba Huang tribe's spy. She had good intentions and let the descendants of the Ba Huang tribe go. Originally, I had gathered everyone here to tell you that the Zao state had caught the celestial fox bloodline that could be used to repair the Dutian bloodmark. However, they had let her go. Luckily, I had made arrangements and worked with Elder Si Ming to capture the celestial fox. Because of the appearance of the gold coin, more than half of the Emperor Zao in Red subordinates had died. The only one left was the useless 7th main summoner. The Emperor Zao in Red could not count on him. With Yun Sheng and her golden beast, as well as Lan who still had the ability to fight, the Emperor Zao in Red could only join forces with the other countries if he wanted to stop Yun Sheng and her family. The Emperor Zao in Red would not allow Hu Jiuxing to be rescued. Clap, clap, clap. The Emperor Zao in Red. Can you be more shameless? I am the Ba Huang tribe's spy. If I was a spy, Peng Lai would have been destroyed without breaking out of the prison. I was the one who discovered and exposed the first summoner and the volcano seal. If it wasn't for me, would you still be standing here? Yin Sheng couldn't help but clap her hands loudly as she looked at the Emperor Zao in Red and mocked him. If she hadn't helped the Master of Molten Flame recover his strength, Peng Lai would have been destroyed during the Dutian conference. The Emperor Zao in Red. If it wasn't for me, the Zao state and Peng Lai would have been destroyed. Would you still be standing here? Yin Sheng sneered. If she hadn't discovered the first summoner's plot and destroyed the volcano seal, Peng Lai would have been destroyed in the volcanic eruption. Not only was the Emperor Zao in Red ungrateful, he even bit the hand that fed him. The Emperor Zao in Red looked at Yun Songhai and saw that the 9th summoner, Hu Jiuxing, was unconscious and nestled in his arms. They looked very compatible, and he was even more furious. As the leader of the Zao state, you didn't see through people and bit the hand that fed you. As for the woman in the water prison, she was an ordinary person who didn't practice magic or martial arts. The Emperor Zao in Red used despicable means to kidnap her and punish her. With such behavior, let alone being the Emperor Zao, you aren't even qualified to be a human. Yin Sheng's sharp tongue made the Emperor Zao in Red's face turn red. The volcano seal? The first summoner betrayed him? And what about the celestial fox? The vice president of the Hunters Guild and the crown prince of Tang Yuan, Li Cheng, were shocked. How could so many things have happened in just one morning? They were still completely in the dark. Dugu Xiu thought to himself. He didn't expect the first summoner of Peng Lai to be a spy sent by the Ba Huang tribe. He just didn't know which force he belonged to. You have no proof. Do you think you can confuse right and wrong just by judging your words? The Emperor Zao in Red argued. Whether it's true or false, we just need to ask the Master of Molten Flame. He is the guardian beast of the volcano and also the guardian of Peng Lai. He won't side with an outsider, right? Or are you all the same as the Emperor Zao in Red? You are all heartless and ungrateful. Yin Sheng looked at everyone from the corner of her eyes. Many of the summoners of the Zao state had died, and the Emperor Zao in Red was alone. As long as these people were divided, Yin Sheng was confident that she could let her father and Lan leave safely. Emperor Zao, the immortal Jew country, is only here to participate in the Dutian conference. The immortal Jew country will not interfere in the Zao state's affairs. Divine Wind stepped aside. He glanced at Yun Sheng a few times, and a helpless smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The Emperor Zao, Master Yin Yun, is my Tang Yuan country's master. He saved my mother before. Forgive me for not being able to help. Li Cheng also stepped aside. What a joke. Everyone had a life and death cycle. He didn't know if he would need Yin Yun's help in the future. It was better to stay neutral and not interfere. The Emperor Zhao, you know the rules of the Hunters Guild. A drop of water should be repaid with a spring. This girl doesn't seem to be lying. She saved the lives of my brothers and me. The Hunters Guild will not interfere in this matter. The vice president of the Hunters Guild also stepped aside. Among the few people from the metropolis meet, several people left in a short while, leaving only Ho-Chin Duguxiu. Duguxiu looked at Yin Yun and the gold coin. Finally, he looked at the gold coin. To be exact, he looked at the gold coin's right forelimb. A vicious look flashed across Dugu Xiu's eagle-like eyes. That was it, wasn't him. It was him, Yi Baiming. Haha, what a good Yi Baiming. After becoming like this, he still secretly followed Yun Sheng. The Emperor Zhao in red. I am willing to help the Zhao state. Yun Sheng's expression changed. She didn't expect that Dugu Xiu, a descendant of the Eight Barons, would choose to join forces with the Emperor Zhao in red. Chapter 1040. Unlike the others, Dugu Xiu did not pay attention to the dispute between the Emperor Zhao in red and Yun Sheng after entering the water dungeon. What Yin Yun? As soon as he heard Yun Sheng's voice, he understood everything. Needless to say, the great master of Tang Yuan and the sacred beast were all Yun Sheng in disguise. Dugu Xiu would not interfere in the feud between Yun Sheng's family and the Emperor Zhao in red. The destruction of the Zhao state was a good thing for Dugu Xiu. What caught Dugu Xiu's attention was the few main summoners who had been killed in the water dungeon. Others might have thought that there must have been a fierce battle in the water dungeon, but Dugu Xiu saw clearly that these main summoners had been killed in one hit. At the same time, he also noticed the bloodstain left on Dollar's right forelimb. Generally speaking, demonic beasts were used to killing their enemies with their limbs. However, Yin Sheng's demonic beast was different. It used its left and right forelimbs. Dugu Xiu had already felt that something was wrong when he saw it on the spaceship of the later Qin. It was a human habit to use their forelimbs. In addition, Dollar had an unusual desire to protect Yun Sheng, so Dugu Xiu could not help but take a few more glances at Dollar. As the iron-blooded emperor of the later Qin, Dugu Xiu had fought countless battles in the past 10 years. He had killed countless people with his bare hands and had piled up countless corpses. To be able to become the main summoner of the Zhao state, his strength was not to be underestimated. Even Dugu Xiu himself was not confident that he could kill several people in one hit, unless he used the halberd of the divine warrior. Or did he have a secret weapon that was comparable to the halberd of the divine warrior? Then Dugu Xiu noticed the look in Dollar's eyes. That look was very domineering, just like Yi Baiming in the past. It seemed to be telling everyone, no one can touch his woman. That golden demonic beast was Yi Baiming. Yin Sheng didn't understand Dugu Xiu's gaze. But the golden Qilin Yi Baiming, who was also a man, understood. Dugu Xiu recognized him. Golden Qilin Yi Baiming couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Dugu Xiu was even sharper than the little wild cat. Or should it be said that his intuition should be called the sixth sense of his love rival? Seeing that Dugu Xiu was willing to help, the Emperor Zhao in red was delighted. Dugu Xiu was a martial emperor. If he was willing to lend a hand, it would be extremely difficult for Yun Sheng and the others to escape. I don't fight with women. My opponent is this. Dugu Xiu pointed at Dollar. He wanted to find out if this golden magical beast was Yi Baiming. Why would Yi Baiming, who is clearly a human, turn into a magical beast? Furthermore, it was a golden magical beast that had never appeared on the continent before. Roar! Dollar's throat moved, and he made a roaring sound. Dollar, do you want to fight with him? Yin Sheng understood Dollar's meaning. She also felt that Dollar was more repulsed by Dugu Xiu than the others. Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. If you want to leave, you can. But you and your magical beast have to defeat me and His Majesty first. The Emperor Zhao, in red, also understood that he couldn't kill Yun Sheng in front of everyone. Yun Sheng had seen through the identity of the first summoner and stopped the volcano eruption. She was indeed the savior of Peng Lai. Bo, shameless old monster. Master is only 18 years old, and you're 80 years old. You actually want to fight Master one-on-one. Old monster, not only do you like to eat young grass, but you also like to bully the young. Your face is thicker than the bark of a tree. Beside Yun Sheng, there was a magical fluctuation. A pink magical beast in the shape of a ball of fur landed on Yun Sheng's shoulder. After Papa, the sheep, finished scolding, it unceremoniously pointed its butt at the Emperor Zhao in red to express its strong disdain. The corners of Yun Sheng's mouth twitched. Not bad. His sheep's mouth had improved greatly recently. He even knew how to scold people without using vulgarities. What kind of magical beast was this? With the Emperor Zhao in red's experience, he actually saw two magical beasts that he couldn't tell the level and strength of. Moreover, teleportation was prohibited on Fire Island. Other than the Emperor Zhao in red and Peng Lai of Gojoseon, no one could break this restriction. However, this demonic beast completely ignored this restriction. Of course, the Emperor Zhao in red didn't know that Baby Sheep was a universe deity on standby. Even though his strength hadn't reached the level of a true universe deity, his ability to break through space restrictions was still impressive. Bastard, the Emperor Zhao, am only 67 years old. How can I be 80 years old, you little bastard? The Emperor Zhao in red was first insulted by Yun Sheng's age. Now he was ridiculed by Papa's sheep. He had lost all his face. That magical beast is right. If Emperor Zhao rashly competes with this lady, even if he wins, he will only lose face for the Zhao state and Emperor Zhao. Peng Lai of Gojoseon Ji Rumo appeared in the water prison. In the dim prison cell, a pair of amber eyes on his masked face flashed with a light that resembled the ripples of the sea. Ji Rumo, how dare you speak up for her? The Emperor Zhao in red was displeased. He didn't expect that his adopted son would speak up for an outsider. This was Peng Lai, but all these people were speaking up for the bastard of the Yun family. Yun Sheng was also surprised that Ji Rumo had helped her again. Was he a friend or a foe? Yun Sheng was confused. She looked at Ji Rumo. Suddenly, she saw Ji Rumo winking at her. Next to him, Dollar's nose made a loud, snorting sound. Emperor Zhao, Rumo, is only interested in the matter, not the person. Ji Rumo said calmly. The 13 million lives in Peng Lai were saved by this lady. Emperor Zhao wants to compete, but the conditions must be changed. If this lady can remain undefeated for 15 minutes, Emperor Zhao will let her and her family go. Remain undefeated for 15 minutes? Du Guxiu, Godwind, and the others were stunned. A quarter of an hour was a very short period of time. However, the opponent was the red-robed summoner. A quarter of an hour was enough for Yun Sheng to die dozens of times. It wasn't that they didn't have confidence in Yun Sheng, but the Emperor Zhao in red was too powerful. The Emperor Zhao in red's anger turned into joy. He thought that Peng Lai of Gojoseon would personally intervene in this competition. He didn't expect that he would only propose such a condition. As expected, Rumo was still afraid of him, the summoner emperor. He must have been mistaken. Rumo and Yun Sheng were just strangers who met by chance. Why would Rumo help her? The Emperor Zhao in red had already made up his mind. If Yun Sheng didn't work for him, he would kill her. No matter how many powerful magical beasts Yun Sheng had, as long as he summoned his mythical beast, no matter how many magical beasts she had, it would be useless. Well, I swear on my soul that as long as she can remain undefeated for 15 minutes, I will let her family go. The Emperor Zhao in red was very confident and made a promise. Chapter 1041. As soon as the Emperor Zhao in red said those words, Peng Lai of Gojoseon's Ji Rumo's face relaxed slightly. Even someone as cold as him couldn't help but feel his palms getting wet at that moment. This was all he could do to help. The Emperor Zhao in red and his mythological beast were so strong that even he didn't dare to fight them head-on. He firmly believed that with Yun Sheng's wit, she would definitely be able to hold on for a quarter of an hour. While Peng Lai of Gojoseon was negotiating with the Emperor Zhao in red, Yunsheng was also whispering to Baby Sheep. Ha ha ha. When I compete with that old man later, do you have any way to directly banish his magical beast? After knowing that the Emperor Zhao in red might have a real mythological beast, Yunsheng didn't want to fight him head-on. When she proposed to compete with the Emperor Zhao in red, she already had such thoughts. Only a fool would fight with a real weapon against a strong enemy, like the Emperor Zhao in red. Her name was Yunsheng, not brainless. Baby Sheep, my dear master, this time, this world god will have to disappoint you. That old man's mythological beast is really a mythological beast. Baby Sheep is only a world god from the mortal world. The opponent is a mythological beast. Baby Sheep doesn't have the ability to exile it. Baby Sheep was a little depressed. As a world god from the mortal world, Baby Sheep could only exile mythological beasts or species that were below the mythological beast level. If the opponent was a mythological beast, Baby Sheep could still exile it. But if it was a real mythological beast, then it had already transcended the mortal world's boundaries. In other words, the Emperor Zhao in red's mythological beast, Baby Sheep felt a headache coming on. The Emperor Zhao in red's beast language ring emitted the aura of a mythological beast, revealing that it was a real mythological beast. Compared to Yunsheng's totem, the azure dragon, the vermilion bird, and the white tiger, it was a true divine beast that was much stronger. Facing such a mythological beast, Bobo was powerless. Yunsheng broke out in cold sweat. There was nothing she could do. Did she really have to fight with the Emperor Zhao in red? Miss, do you agree to the Emperor Zhao in red's conditions? Ji Rumo's voice softened. Golden Qilin Yi Baiming, Dugu Xiao, and Divine Wind all heard something wrong. What's going on? It's only been a few days. How did the little wild cat kidnap another man? Yi Baiming, the Golden Qilin, ground its teeth so hard that they creaked. Agree my ass. If you want to compete, go ahead. Yunsheng cursed in her heart. However, this was already the best way for their family of three to escape from Penglai. Sheng'er don't agree. Father has to compete with him. Yin Songhai didn't want his daughter to be in danger. He was a father, a husband, and the head of the family. It was his responsibility to protect his wife and daughter. Yunsheng's heart couldn't help but clench when she saw her father's concerned gaze and the unconscious Hu Jiuxing in his arms. Their family of three had been through so much before they could be reunited. This time, she must take her father and mother out of Penglai safely. No, father, believe me. I have a way to let our family of three out of danger. Yunsheng said as she took out her beast language ring and put it on her finger. That's your summoning ring? You're actually just a scepter summoner? The Emperor Zhao in red had thought that Yunsheng's summoner level would be very high. He didn't expect that she was only wearing a shabby, low-level scepter summoner's ring. This ring is enough to deal with you. Yunsheng, accept your challenge. At that moment, it was as if a ray of sunshine had shone into the dark water prison. Yunsheng, who was wearing the most ordinary summoner's robe, stood there gracefully. The coldness emanating from her body instantly froze the air in the cell. The competition was held in the sky above Fire Island. First, Yunsheng would fight against the Emperor Zhao in red. Penglai Gojozian would be the referee. Little girl, I will give you another chance. Surrender to the Zhao state together with your mother, and I can spare your life. The Emperor Zhao in red's gorgeous robe of Emperor Zhao was fluttering in the strong wind. His words were full of arrogance. Yes, he had enough capital to be arrogant. This robe of Emperor Zhao was the dream of countless summoners in the world. At the same time, it was also the symbol of the Emperor Zhao in red strength. Facing the Emperor Zhao in red, Yunsheng just raised her eyelids. Her long eyelashes drooped down. She saw her father on the ground, who was extremely anxious. After nodding to her father, Yunsheng couldn't help but glance at Dollar. Dollar didn't seem to be worried at all. This made him squint his eyes and lie on the ground, looking like he was conserving his energy. He still had a fight with Duguxiu later. Duguxiu's gaze kept moving back and forth between Yunsheng and Dollar. What's going on? How can a magical beast like Yi Baiming be so relaxed? If it was really Yi Biming, it should be as anxious as him, worried about Yun Sheng's safety. Duguxiu was already regretting it. He was already worried about Yun Sheng. The Emperor Zhao in Red's strength was unfathomable. Although that woman was a little clever, she didn't have much chance of winning against the Emperor Zhao in Red. Although Duguxiu was angry at Yun Sheng for scheming against him time and time again, the more Yun Sheng schemed against him, the more Duguxiu cared about her. Duguxiu had already thought about it. If the Emperor Zhao in Red really wanted to kill him, he would save Yun Sheng, even if he had to use that thing as an exchange. In the sky, Yun Sheng indifferently spat out 2 words, "In your dreams. You're courting death." The Emperor Zhao in Red was furious. The Emperor Zhao in Red started chanting. The soul stone of an unknown magical beast on the Emperor Zhao in Red's ring emitted a blood-red color. Then, a sound like a baby crying came out of the ring. A huge magic array appeared under the Emperor Zhao in Red's feet. Inside the magic formation, the obscure magical runes left behind from ancient times began to swim like tadpoles. An unprecedentedly majestic pressure surged out from the magic array like a tidal wave. In the entire Punlai, within 100 miles, all the magical beasts, whether flying in the sky, running on the ground, or swimming in the sea, were scared out of their wits. The more courageous ones were also scared out of their wits and did not dare to move. The mythical beast had not appeared, but it had already shown its terrifying power. Yun Sheng's face became serious. Was this the power of a mythical beast? At the same time, she also started chanting. A magic array flashing with pink light appeared under Yun Sheng's feet. In the Emperor Zhao in Red's magic array, a huge shadow of a beast began to appear. It was like a mountain, and the shadow of the beast was getting clearer and clearer. It was about to break out of the magic array. Just the shadow of the beast was already very scary. On the other hand, Yun Sheng's magic array did not have the slightest bit of pressure. Even the magic waves were very weak. What kind of magical beast could be summoned from such a magical beast magic array? The Emperor Zhao in Red snorted coldly. The Emperor Zhao in Red's chanting suddenly stopped. He suddenly realized that Yun Sheng had disappeared. Chapter 1042. She's gone. She's really gone. The Emperor Zhao in Red thought that his eyes were playing tricks on him. He didn't even bother with chanting as he carefully searched for her. She was said to be the B** star to the Yun family. Even her talkative demonic beast was gone. How is this possible? It's impossible to use teleportation magic on Fire Island. It's also impossible to use invisibility magic. Where did she go? Look, Miracle Dr. Yin is gone. Crown Prince Li Cheng raised his head and pointed to the sky. The Emperor Zhao in Red and Peng Lai of Gojoseon were the only ones left in the sky. They were searching for Yun Sheng. 15 minutes. As expected, she didn't disappoint him. However, the Emperor Zhao in Red was probably going to explode from anger. Peng Lai of Gojoseon smiled helplessly. Yin Songhai was also dumbfounded. He muttered, "Where's Sheng Er?" Duguxiu and Godwind couldn't hold themselves back either. Jean Coin stretched his back. In this world, he was probably the only one who knew where Yun Sheng was at this moment. In the Realm Meditation Land, Yun Sheng and Baby Sheep walked out a magic array. That's right, Baby Sheep had told Yun Sheng that it couldn't exile the Emperor Zhao in Red's magic beast. Then exile me. Just exile me to any corner. After 15 minutes, with a whoosh, send me back. Yun Sheng came up with this rotten idea almost without thinking. In any case, the condition of her competition with the Emperor Zhao in Red was that Yun Sheng would win if she didn't lose within 15 minutes. The Emperor Zhao in Red didn't say how she would win. Sometimes, showing weakness was also a very good method. Baby Sheep was also speechless. It had stayed by the side of its mother goddess for so many years. This was the first time it heard of someone voluntarily asking to be exiled. However, the decision made by its dear master was always right. Baby Sheep thought for a while and smoothly sent Yun Sheng to its headquarters, which was the Realm Meditation Land. After Yunsheng was sent over, she looked at her surroundings. The realm meditation land was the place where the world gods were born. If Baby Sheep's mother goddess hadn't met with an accident when she was hatching him, he would have been hatched here. For Yunsheng, these 15 minutes was very leisurely. Just thinking of the scene where the Emperor Zhao in red was probably going to vomit 3 liters of blood from anger made her feel very good. Baby Sheep, Yunsheng, in the realm meditation land, she found something that looked like scales. These scales were pitch black like fish scales. They looked somewhat familiar. Baby Sheep. Oh no. Baby Sheep went over to take a look. With this look, Baby Sheep was so scared that he almost peed his pants. What his master found were the scales of the Qilin boy. Yi Baiming was originally a black Qilin. When he was cultivating the burning demon art, the black Qilin scales that symbolized his evil aura peeled off one by one, and new golden scales grew out one by one. These black scales were left behind when the Qilin boy transformed into a golden Qilin. Touching the rough black scales, Yunsheng's face was as cold as frost. Baby Sheep, tell me, is this dollar? It's his scales. He's dollar. You and him have been hiding it from me. She had long felt that Dollar's every move was very unusual. The feeling Dollar gave her was completely different from other magical beasts. Sometimes it was overbearing, sometimes it was arrogant, and to those of the opposite sex who got close to it, it was fierce. Now that she thought about it, it was exactly the same as someone's reaction earlier. Yunsheng's heart was filled with mixed feelings. There was sweetness and also pain. Night Fox, how long are you going to lie to me? Baby Sheep saw that its master was very angry and shrank its wings, wanting to sneakily escape. Who knew that before it could escape? Its wings were pinched by Yunsheng. Don't cry. Don't howl. Tell me, how many things have you hidden from me? If you dare to hide, even a little, I'll pull out a bunch of your fur. Yunsheng gritted her teeth. Baby Sheep was very protective of its pink soft fur. When it heard that Yunsheng was going to use such a cruel method of plucking, Baby Sheep immediately became quiet. What Night Fox? It actually dared to collude with her life's contract beast and deceive her. What a Baby Sheep. She didn't know how many benefits Night Fox had given it. Baby Sheep begs for mercy. Dear Master, don't be angry. Baby Sheep told Yunsheng everything that had happened 3 years ago. After Yi Baiming had turned into a beast, it had brought Yi Baiming into the realm's meditation land. And then Yi Baiming had cultivated the burning demon art. Baby Sheep, dear Master, the Qilin boy is also very miserable. He knows that you are very sad and wants to see you, but he was cursed by the ancient Qilin king and can't get close to you. In order to be able to see you again, he cultivated the burning demon art. The burning demon art was the most difficult cultivation technique to cultivate in the Baby Sheep family. Those who cultivated it had to experience a life worse than death. When the Qilin boy shed his vicious scales and grew golden scales, it was as if someone was cutting his flesh with a knife. It was very painful. He didn't say a word. He's a good man. Baby Sheep secretly glanced at its master. Yunsheng lowered her eyes and looked at the black scales on her hand. The scales were densely packed and innumerable, and each scale was stained with blood that had long since dried up. One could imagine what kind of pain Yi Baiming had experienced when he transformed into a golden Qilin. Yunsheng's long eyelashes were stained with moisture. Night Fox, in order to be with her, he had suffered a lot. How could she have the heart to blame him? Baby Sheep, dear Master, are you not angry anymore? Baby Sheep felt that its wings that had been grabbed had finally regained its freedom. It then secretly glanced at its master's expression. Its master's expression was still not very good, but it seemed that she was not so angry anymore. No matter what, Baby Sheep, you shouldn't have colluded with Yi Baiming to deceive me. Yunsheng snorted and glared at Baby Sheep. The latter only felt the wool on its body tighten, and it was so scared that it curled up into a ball. Although she was very touched, this adult and child actually dared to hide it from her for so long. She could not let them off so easily. I don't want him to know that I discovered Yi Baiming's identity for the time being. Baby Sheep, keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, I will not hesitate to shave all your hair. Yun Sheng carefully put away those black Qilin scales. When Yun Sheng discovered the black Qilin scales just now, she discovered that these scales were filled with energy. Qilin scales were a very good material for refining weapons. She planned to try refining black Qilin scales when she had the chance, and see if there were any unexpected results. One day, she would take revenge for all the suffering that Night Fox had suffered. Before Yi Baiming could recover his human body, Yun Sheng decided not to let Yi Baiming know that she had discovered the truth of the matter for the time being. 1 hour and 15 minutes were almost up. Yun Sheng could not wait to see the Emperor Zhao in red fly into a rage. Chapter 1043. In the sky above Penglai, astral winds whistled. The red-clothed Huangji's hair danced wildly like snakes. His eyes were scarlet red as he used his sorcery to search for Yun Sheng's whereabouts on Penglai Island. Using magic to search for a person was a very exhausting act, but the Emperor Zhao in red didn't care so much. He only knew that time was ticking by, and the 15 minutes he promised was almost up. On the ground, Tang Yuan's crown Princely Chung and the Hunters Guild's vice president opened their mouths like idiots. Speaking of which, this person disappeared. What will the result be? Tang Yuan's crown prince whispered. That's hard to say. On the mainland, there is no precedent for such a competition. The Hunters Guild's vice president scratched his head. Divine Wind's emerald green eyes also flashed with doubt. The moment Yun Sheng disappeared, Divine Wind had already quietly used the tracking technique. When it came to tracking, no one was better than the wind elf in the world. He manipulated the surrounding wind, whether it was the wind on land or the wind in the sea, to search for Yun Sheng's whereabouts. But even he couldn't find Yun Sheng. If Yun Sheng's parents weren't still here, he would really think that Yun Sheng had escaped. However, Yun Sheng was probably the only person in the world who could escape under the nose of the Emperor Zhao in red and Penglai of Gojoseon. Duguxiu looked at Jean Coin suspiciously. Jean Coin squinted his eyes and looked comfortable under the sun. After 15 minutes, the Emperor Zhao in red's handsome face was already sweating. He had already searched several main islands of Penglai, not to mention Yun Sheng. He couldn't even catch Yun Sheng's breath. But his magic power was mostly consumed. The Emperor Zhao, 15 minutes have passed. Penglai of Gojoseon coughed softly. As soon as he finished speaking, a pink magic array reappeared in front of everyone as if it had been prearranged. Huh! The Grand Yin Kingdom Hand has appeared. Li Chung couldn't help but shout. On the ground, the gazes of Divine Wind and the others suddenly focused on Yun Sheng. Dollar's golden eyes were full of pride. He stared at the sky, at the woman who was like a beautiful moon. If she couldn't even last a moment under the Emperor Zhao in red's hands, then she wouldn't be the little wildcat that he was familiar with. Yun Sheng, you really didn't disappoint me. Yun Sheng, you're so shameless. How dare you run away? The red-robed emperor was infuriated. Was this woman trying to anger him to death? She had appeared in 15 minutes, no more, no less. Yun Sheng wasn't embarrassed at all. She was arrogant and calm. Ji Feng, you've been famous for a long time. Who said that a battle must be fought with real swords and spears? Penglai of Gojoseon made it clear that as long as I don't lose in 15 minutes, he will let my family of 3 leave. Penglai of Gojoseon, do you mean what you said? Yun Sheng's black eyes were full of cunning. Beneath the mask, the corners of Ji Rumo's mouth slowly curved upwards. Yun Sheng was probably the only one who could act so shamelessly and confidently. However, when Ji Rumo saw Yun Sheng's shameless act, an indescribable feeling slowly grew in his heart. I'm going to kill you. The Emperor Zhao, in red, suddenly sped up, making it impossible for people to see his attack clearly. He pounced on her face and used his magic scepter to hit her head. Emperor Zhao, please think twice before you act. In a flash, Ji Rumo was already in front of Yun Sheng. Although the expression on his face couldn't be seen clearly, at this moment, a storm was brewing in his amber eyes. Ji Rumo, how dare you stop by? The Emperor Zhao in red was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. Bobo, shameless, shameless. The Emperor Zao in red didn't mean what he said. Everyone, come and take a look. Bobo's sheep raised its voice and jumped up and down in the air. Its voice was like a loudspeaker. Jifeng, don't be so shameless. If you push me too far, I will make Penglai completely disappear from the mainland. Master of Molten Flame, listen to me. Yin Sheng's eyes flashed with a fierce light. She raised her hand. There was almost no chant, just a thought. Above the sea of Penglai, bang, there was an earth-shattering sound, and the whole Penglai island seemed to shake. On the sea, there was a huge wave that was dozens of meters high, as if there was a storm. The Penglai fishing boat that was fishing at sea dropped the fishing net in hand. The residents living on the beach all gathered around. Oh my God, what did they see? On top of the huge wave that was dozens of meters high stood a giant. Its body was spitting fire, and it was holding a flaming spear in its hand. I am the guardian beast of the Penglai volcano seal, the master of molten flame. Respected new master, what can I do for you? The master of molten flame's aura was amazing. Oh my God, that was the volcano guardian of Penglai. 4 generations, it was the guardian of Penglai. In the eyes of ordinary people, the power of the volcano was extraordinary, and the master of molten flame was even more honorable. The fishermen and villagers were in awe. They all prostrated themselves on the ground and kowtowed to the master of molten flame. The Emperor Zao in red was shocked. He stared at Yun Sheng angrily. You are threatening I. Do you dare to kill 13 million people of Penglai? Penglai of Gojoseon could not help but clench his hands. Did Yun Sheng really want to kill so many people of Penglai for her own selfishness? Could it be that he was wrong about her? Yun Sheng's eyes were full of colors. She looked at the Emperor Zao in red with a pair of cold eyes. Everyone, let me tell you a piece of unfortunate news. Because your Lord Zhao Huang went back on his word. He is a selfish and vile person. His behavior angered the Volcano Guardian, and the Volcano Guardian will leave Penglai. Within a month, the volcano at the bottom of the sea of Penglai will erupt. At that time, Penglai will be engulfed by the volcano. When Yun Sheng spoke, she used wind magic. For a moment, her voice fell in every corner of Penglai. The residents and fishermen heard and roared angrily. The Emperor Zao, what the hell is going on? Penglai of Gojoseon, keep the volcano guardian. F*CK off. Emperor Zao, we want to live and work in peace. Everyone, this is a blessing in disguise. If you want to leave Penglai, it is not too late. If you are willing, you can move to Zhou State. My Zhou State has a vast territory and is willing to accept the people of Penglai. As soon as Yun Sheng's voice fell, the residents of Penglai exploded. If people did not offend her, she would not offend them. If people offended her, she would kill them. Of course, Yun Sheng would not turn a blind eye to the lives of 13 million people. Since she could not kill them, she would take them in. Empty Penglai and let the Emperor Zao in red be his lone Emperor Zao. This was a beautiful move. It was a threat, but at the same time, it was not a threat. On the ground, several people, including Duguxiu and Divine Wind, could not help but cheer for Yun Sheng's words. Because there were many comments in the book review section that could not be seen by the Claw Machine gang, Diffuzi continued to nag. For updates a day, if there were additional updates, she would notify them in advance. In February, she had to work for half a month. Chapter 1044. It had been proven countless times that those who wanted to make Yun Sheng suffer would always end up losing the rice used to lure her. The Emperor Zao in red was no exception. The Emperor Zao in red had long expected that Yun Sheng was the one who had awakened the master of molten flame. He had also guessed that Yun Sheng would trigger a volcanic eruption in order to destroy Penglai. However, the Emperor Zao in red was not Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng was not a kind person. In her previous life, she had used her medical skills to save both bad and good people. In this life, she had also killed countless people to protect her family and friends. However, she had never forgotten that she was a descendant of the Shinong Yin family. She wore the Shinnong medical bracelet on her hand. She killed people, but only those who deserved to be killed. Peng Lai had 13 million people. This was not a small crime. Did he want her, Yun Sheng, to be cursed for eternity? Dream on. Even if she did not kill anyone, she still had many ways to force the Emperor Zhao in red to back down. She did not believe that the Emperor Zhao in red would be able to remain as the Emperor Zhao in red in a deserted Peng Lai that could erupt at any time. Yun Sheng's threat completely angered the Emperor Zhao in red. Vile spawn, you were so sinister. The Emperor Zhao in red's chest tightened. A few hideous wrinkles suddenly appeared on his originally handsome face. His black hair was suddenly mottled with white. As the saying goes, when a person is too sad, his hair will turn white overnight. The Emperor Zhao in red was angered by Yun Sheng. In an instant, he had aged dozens of years. When it comes to being sinister, how can I compare to your excellency, Emperor Zhao? Yun Sheng smiled, revealing her white teeth. Emperor Zhao, Miss Yun, now that things have come to this, why don't both of you take a step back? Miss Yun, if you leave the Master of Molten Flame behind, this prince is willing to use my life to guarantee that I will let your family of 3 leave Peng Lai. Peng Lai of Gojoseon and Jirumo were also seeing Yun Sheng's unique side for the first time. It turned out that Yun Sheng was not only good at medicine, but she was also good at killing people. Peng Lai of Gojoseon had known the Emperor Zhao in red for so many years, but he had never seen Emperor Zhao lose his composure like this. However, Peng Lai of Gojoseon also heaved a sigh of relief. He almost thought that Yun Sheng would become a demoness who would kill innocent people. If that was the case, what should he do? Good. Good. Jirumo, you're such a traitor. Bastard child of the Yun family. Just you wait. I will kill you sooner or later. The Emperor Zhao in red was extremely angry. On his Emperor summoning ring, the evil aura was like the waves of the sea, rolling nonstop. Peng Lai of Gojoseon and Jirumo blocked the Emperor Zhao in red with one hand and pressed down on the Emperor Zhao in red's ring with the other hand. Emperor Zhao, the Dutian Blood Seal crisis has not been resolved. Please think twice before you act. Peng Lai of Gojoseon's words were light but heavy. The Emperor Zhao in red's eyes were red. He looked at Hu Jiusheng unwillingly, and his heart was in pain as if it was being stabbed by a knife. He would never forget the humiliation he had suffered today. Even though Hu Jiusheng had been rescued, without the heart crystal, she was like a walking corpse. Although his divine beast was powerful, he could not use it too much. Otherwise, it would backfire on his body. In all these years, the number of times the Emperor Zhao in red had used his divine beast could be counted on one hand. It was not worth it to ruin his great plan for a lowly bastard child. It was unknown what Peng Lai of Gojoseon and the Emperor Zhao in red said, but when Peng Lai of Gojoseon turned around again, the Emperor Zhao in red's face was ashen, but he did not act up again. He did not say a word, and with a wave of magic, he disappeared. Miss Yin, you can leave now. The next time we meet, I hope we will not be enemies. Jirumo's figure flashed and disappeared as well. Yin Sheng felt something extra in her hand. She looked down and realized that there were a few heart crystals in her hand. Her heart skipped a beat. She looked at the place where Jirumo disappeared and was stunned for a moment. Just as Yin Sheng was secretly guessing who Jirumo was, Dugu Xiu's impatient voice came from below. Your competition is over, but mine has just begun. Dugu Xiu was still brooding over the fact that he had lost to Yi Baiming in the past. In the past few years, he had been cultivating diligently, merged with 2 Qilin blood crystals, and combined with the power of the halberd of the divine warrior. He wanted to see if he or Yi Baiming was stronger when both of them had the halberd of the divine warrior. Hold on, Dugu Xiu. I don't have time to blindly join in with you. Jin, Yi, we have to leave immediately. Yin Sheng was burning with anxiety. She was worried about Hu Sheng's safety. Roar! Women shouldn't meddle in men's business. Jin Yi and Dugu Xiu roared at Yin Sheng at almost the same time. Yin Sheng was dumbfounded. Were they rebelling? They actually dared to roar at her. As soon as she finished speaking, Dugu Xiu roared angrily. His entire body erupted with black flames, biting cold fighting aura. The fighting aura swirled and formed a mighty black qilin. Black scales grew on his body and limbs. In the blink of an eye, he had already gone berserk and was ready to launch a fatal attack. He didn't show any signs of weakness. He arched his beautiful back and planted his forelimbs on the ground. His entire body was surrounded by golden battle aura that was like clouds. You guys aren't leaving, right? I'll leave. Yin Sheng was also annoyed. What time was it now? These two fighting idiots still wanted to fight? If they want to fight, then let them fight to their heart's content. After saying that, Yun Sheng gave an order. Yin Songhai hugged Hu Jiusheng, God Wind, and Indigo like stars. They flashed across the sky and disappeared without a trace. Oh no, the little wildcat is angry. He secretly complained. He was also blinded by his man's desire to win. The world was big, but coaxing his wife was the most important thing. Forget it, this fight I won't fight. Jin Yi's golden eyes flashed with a trace of regret. He no longer had the heart to fight. He stepped on 4 golden clouds and chased after his wife without saying goodbye. Dugu Xiao just got in a position and was ready to have a big fight. Who would have thought that Jin Yi would actually run away? Bastard knight. Dugu Xiao was about to explode when suddenly a majestic voice sounded in his mind. His father, He Yao, ordered him to immediately go to the Dutian Blood Realm. In 3 days, the Bahuang tribe would attack the Dutian Blood Seal. Dugu Xiao's eagle eyes narrowed. This day finally came. He couldn't tell whether he was happy or depressed. Dugu Xiao's doe qi wings flapped, and he slid hundreds of meters away. The sky, which was originally bustling with noise and excitement, became empty in an instant. Tang Yuan, crowned Prince Li Cheng, and the vice president of the Hunters Guild woke up from their dream. In a fit of anger, Yun Sheng, who left the main island of Penglai, didn't stop until she reached the border between Penglai and later Qin. Father, here are 4 heart crystals. Take Mother back to Taiyuan Mountain first. Use the heart crystals to stabilize Mother's emotions. After I save Hu Sheng, I will immediately go find you. She took out the heart crystals that Jirumo gave her and gave them to her father, Yin Songhai. Chapter 1045. Hu Jiusheng had already woken up. After being hit by Yun Sheng's corpse puppet, she was much quieter than before. Along the way, she only held Yun Songhai's hand quietly, like a lost child. Yun Sheng's heart ached when she saw her mother like this. But without finding the heart lamp, she couldn't find out the reason for her mother's amnesia. But now, Yun Sheng couldn't find the heart lamp. The most urgent thing now was to get to the Dutian blood world and find Hu Jiusheng. Yun Sheng could only talk about her mother's treatment and put it aside for the time being. Sheng-er, the power of the Xi Ming is not to be underestimated. You must not be rash. Yin Songhai was also worried about his daughter going to the blood world, but he also understood that his daughter couldn't let Hu Sheng be killed. Father, don't worry. God Wind and Sister Lan will go with me. As Yun Sheng spoke, she didn't forget to sneak a peek behind her. That damn night fox, he still hadn't caught up. Then be careful. Father will wait for your return. Yin Songhai reminded her a few more times, then left with Hu Jiusheng. God Wind, I'll have to trouble you this time. We have to get to the Dutian blood world in the shortest time possible. Yin Sheng's wind magic couldn't travel 1,000 miles in a day. She could only use God Wind's wind escape to travel day and night to the Dutian blood world. But even so, it would take her at least 2 days to get to the Dutian blood world. Yun Sheng could only hope that everything was not too late. When Dollar arrived, Yun Sheng and the others had already left. He was angry and paced back and forth in the same place. Suddenly, he found a mark with a small tuft of pink hair left on it. Dutian blood world? The little wildcat was still going to save that Hu Sheng. Dollar no longer hesitated. He kicked off the ground and headed for the Dutian blood world. In the Dutian blood world, outside the Dutian blood seal. After 3 years, the Dutian blood seal, which had been severely damaged, had begun to show signs of collapse. The originally blood-red blood seal had begun to wither, slowly turning from red to black. It looked like it was on the verge of collapse and would collapse at any time. A blood sacrifice magic array the size of half a football field was being drawn. Unlike ordinary magic arrays, the blood sacrifice magic used to repair the Dutian bloodstains required 1 day and 1 night to draw. Moreover, a lot of preparation work was needed before the drawing could be completed. First of all, the magic array had to be maintained by a magician at the level of a magician. Secondly, the blood of hundreds of magical beasts were needed to draw the magic array. Lastly, the blood of the blood sacrifice had to be the blood of a descendant of Celestial Fox. Elder Si Ming herself was a magician at the level of a magician. As for the other 2 conditions, the temple and the Zhao state had cooperated for the past 3 years and achieved them one by one. After Hu Sheng was abducted by Elder Si Ming halfway, she rushed to the Dutian blood world. What awaited her was the blood sacrifice. Several magicians from the Zhao state stood beside the magic array expressionlessly. They chanted and cast spells. Almost 100 magical beasts were beheaded in front of Hu Sheng. The heads of the beasts rolled on the ground. The fresh red blood was a ghastly sight. The air and the soil were mixed with the smell of blood. Hu Sheng, her hair disheveled, knelt on the ground. Her face was as pale as a sheet of paper. She looked at the struggling magical beasts, and tears rolled down her cheeks. Why? Why did you kill them? Hu Sheng murmured. She knew that it wouldn't be long before she would be beheaded like these demonic beasts. When her blood flowed into the magic formation, the magic power of the magic formation would activate and repair the damaged, great heavenly blood seal. Elder Si Ming stood beside her. If you want to hate your bloodline. Between you and that woman, only one can survive. Since Rumo wants to protect that woman, he can only kill you. When Elder Si Ming first saw Hu Sheng, he almost thought that Hu Sheng was Yun Sheng. But this was no longer important. What Elder Si Ming needed to do now was to complete the blood sacrifice. Elder Si Ming, all the beast's blood is ready. We're just waiting to kill this celestial fox. The magician's blood-stained hands stung Hu Sheng's eyes. She didn't say a word. She seemed to be scared out of her wits. I'll kill her myself. Elder Si Ming pushed Hu Sheng to the center of the blood sacrifice magic array and raised his magic scepter. Hu Sheng lowered his head. Let her go. A roar made Hu Sheng raise his head. What did she see? Abandon, who was covered in wounds, rushed over like a heavenly soldier. TSK, how dare you chase after me? Why is this kid so stubborn? Kid, I know your master, Shi Huang. I'm only sparing your life because of him. Don't push your luck. Elder Si Ming had to stop. Earlier in Penglai, Elder Si Ming suddenly appeared and defeated Abandon, Gufeng, and the others. Sister Lan went to find Yun Sheng for help. Abandon was the most stubborn one. Along the way, he fought with Elder Si Ming several times. Elder Si Ming took into account that he was from the mage elite camp and saw how stubborn Abandon was. He didn't want to kill him and only severely injured him. Who knew that Abandon would chase after him again and again? Chi was in a sorry state. His handsome face was already stained with blood. Abandon, go. Don't worry about me. I'm a remnant of Celestial Fox. If you save me, you'll be in trouble. Hu Sheng couldn't help but shout. She was just a piece of trash. She wasn't worth Abandon risking his life for. Kid, did you hear that? If you save this woman, you'll become the enemy of the entire continent. Elder Si Ming guided him patiently. Abandonment broke into a smile. At that moment, his entire face seemed to be glowing with life. F***CK off. So what if I become the enemy of the entire continent? I'm not afraid. If you want to kill her, you'll have to step over my dead body. This was the first time Hu Sheng saw Abandon smile. It was also the first time Hu Sheng cursed Abandon. However, she had an indescribable feeling. It was a kind of happiness that came from being cared for. Hu Sheng had never felt this kind of happiness in his more than 10 years as a human being. So, there was still someone in this world who cared about her. Abandon had always been a cold-hearted person. Only at this moment did he seem like a living person. You don't know what's good for you. If you want to save someone, you should know your place. I'm going to kill her. Let's see how you save her. Men, get into formation. Elder Si Ming's patience was running out. As soon as he finished speaking, several mages from the temple raised their magic scepters. They chanted in unison. Rays of magic light as bright as day shot out, forming a light barrier that covered the entire blood sacrifice magic circle. Abandon saw this and stomped his feet. However, as soon as he got close to the magic circle, he felt a strong repulsion force that sent him flying. Chapter 1046. Abandon charged again, but he was still bounced back. It's useless. This is the bright crystal wall of the temple. With your current strength, you can't break through it. Elder Si Ming sighed. He couldn't help but cherish this stubborn young man. It was a pity that he was from a mainland's magic elite camp. Otherwise, he would have recruited him into the temple. Abandon was still unwilling to give up. He launched several attacks with magic. However, every time his magic hit the bright crystal wall, it was like hitting a sponge. It was completely ineffective. The bright crystal wall was similar to Goofing's ball of light of the sun. However, the ball of light of the sun was more flexible and could be maintained by Goofing alone. On the other hand, the bright crystal wall was a group magic. It could only be maintained by many mages and could not be maintained for more than an hour. However, this 1 hour was enough for Elder Si Ming to kill Hu Sheng and complete the Blood Seal's restoration. Ignore that kid. The rest of you, start preparing for the blood sacrifice chant. Elder Si Ming didn't want to delay any longer. He ignored Abandon's repeated attempts and raised his magic scepter again. God of light, please bestow upon me the thunder slash to slay all evils in the world. Hu Sheng had already forgotten his fear. He just stared at Abandon. Hu Sheng's gaze fell into Abandon's eyes. No, definitely not. Let Hu Sheng die here. Abandon failed to break through the bright crystal wall again. This time, he didn't use any magic. Little Green, help me this time. I want to break that damn bright crystal wall. Little Green hissed on Abandon's magic scepter. Its body turned into a green light and entered between Abandon's eyebrows. A green brand appeared on Abandon's forehead. After the brand appeared, Abandon's body changed. Strange patterns that looked like scales and tattoos grew on his limbs. They turned into a coiling void serpent. The green snake's eyes were as big as lanterns. There was a pair of giant wings on its back. The snake's body was as big as a millstone. The most terrifying thing was that there was a small section of greenish-black horn on its head. That's a flood dragon. Chang Si Ming was shocked when he saw the void serpent. A snake that grows horns at 500 years old is a flood dragon. From the looks of it, it doesn't look more than 20 years old, but it actually has such a terrifying, demonic beast. The void serpent was neither a spell nor a battle technique. For a moment, even Elder Si Ming couldn't determine what kind of trick Abandon had used. If Yin Sheng was here, she would definitely recognize that it was a kind of fusion divine technique, similar to the fusion of Yun Sheng and Popo. However, it was only because Baby Sheep was a universe god that he was able to possess the body fusion divine skill. Little Qing, who had always been inconspicuous, actually had such an innate talent. After the void serpent took form, it flapped its huge wings and circled above the radiant crystal wall. It opened its ghastly mouth and spat out a ball of sizzling green lightning. Countless poisonous electric arcs that looked like tiny snakes crackled on top of the lightning ball. Rumble! The green lightning ball collided with the light crystal wall. It was as if two meteorites had collided. Magical sparks appeared between the green lightning ball and the light crystal wall, flashing with different colors of light. The people inside the radiant crystal wall seemed to have experienced a small-scale earthquake and were shaken to the point that they were swaying unsteadily. The power of the light crystal wall was forcefully weakened. However, the power of the green lightning ball was not limited to that. Little Qing was born with poison. When the lightning ball that it spat out hit the light crystal wall was dyed with a layer of green poison. The magicians who released the light crystal ball instantly felt poisoned. Their hands that were holding the magic scepter turned green. Not good, this magic attack is poisonous. Chang Si Ming was shocked. He quickly used light magic to heal the magicians. Little did he know that Little Qing's poison was extremely strong. In just a moment, it had already seeped into their veins and blood. Even if they were treated in time, the hands of these magicians would be crippled. Kid, you dared to hurt the people of my Dharma temple. Today, I will not let you live. Chang Si-ming was furious. He didn't want to kill Abandon, but this kid's strength was not ordinary. Today, if he didn't kill him, the blood sacrifice would not be able to proceed normally. Light Demon Slaying Sword. Chang Si-ming had no time to care about Hu Sheng. He chanted, and the magic power merged with the magic scepter in his hand. A light sword that was a few meters tall floated above his nostrils. The sword contained a strong power of light. It pierced towards the Void Serpent. The Void Serpent knew that it would not be able to dodge the sword of light. It opened its huge mouth and swallowed the light sword. The light sword carried a strong power of light magic. When Little Qing swallowed it, it felt a burning power of light pierce into its abdomen. The power of light was scattered all over the place, tearing at its internal organs. Hiss hiss, the Void Serpent writhed in pain in the air. Kid, give up. Do you think you can swallow the light sword? Chang Si-ming stared at the Void Serpent in the sky. He was secretly amazed. The light sword could break through anything tough. This Void Serpent did not admit defeat. It showed how strong its master's willpower was. I will never give up. The Void Serpent spat out a few words with difficulty. Its tail suddenly swung and collided with a light crystal wall. Even in the face of pain that was worse than death, he still wanted to save Hu Sheng. Kid, do you love this woman that much? You're willing to give up your life for her? Chang Si-ming had never experienced the love between a man and a woman in his life. He did not understand why Qi would rather risk his Dharma soul being destroyed to save Hu Sheng. You're wrong. I didn't save her because I love her. Qi was still struggling to hold on. His skin had begun to crack. Blood flowed out like a small stream. Qi's words made Hu Sheng's body tremble slightly. Hu Sheng's beautiful face had a touch of bitterness. Yes, she almost forgot that Qi did not love her. It turned out that no one cared about her. Since you don't love her, why did you save her? Chang Si-ming was even more confused. It was said that the love between a man and a woman could make people do irrational things. He had indeed seen many people around him become abnormal because they fell in love with a woman. The Emperor Zhao, in red, was like that. Peng Lai of Gojoseon and Ji Rumo were also like that. Those two were peerless geniuses. But for the mother and daughter, they went against their hearts and did unusual things. Chang Si-ming saw that Qi was willing to do anything for Hu Sheng. He naturally thought that the two were lovers. Because she's my friend, and also because she's the one I love, the one I promise to protect. Qi said silently in his heart. In order to fulfill Yin Sheng's promise, he would do anything. Chapter 10:47. After repeated collisions, the Void Serpent's tail finally smashed the light crystal wall. Several temple mages could not hold on any longer. They vomited blood and knelt on the ground. Almost at the same time, poof! After the sound of a blunt weapon piercing flesh, the sword of light pierced the Void Serpent's abdomen. Blood splattered like rain. Hu Sheng looked up. Blood fell on her face and covered her eyes. Friends in Hu Sheng's eyes, tears fell like short pearls. They were red. She was just a friend. That's right. Abandon was her friend. Yin Sheng was also her friend. At least they still cared about her. As friends, she could not drag them down. She could not drag them down anymore. Abandon, thank you, Hu Sheng said softly. She stood up abruptly and rushed forward. Catch her. Elder Si-ming was treating a few mages. He did not expect that Hu Sheng, who had been quiet all this time, would run away. In front, the dark red Dutian blood seal was like a beast with its mouth wide open. It stared at Hu Sheng fiercely. At this moment, she was not afraid and did not waver. The cowardly Hu Sheng resolutely rushed towards the Dutian blood seal. 3 years ago, the Dutian blood seal was set up by Elder Si-ming and the second elder of the elite camp. Hu Sheng did not know magic or Do Qi. She was just a body of flesh and blood. If she bumped into the magic seal, she would die. No, Hu Sheng. Abandon was inexplicably distressed. He turned into his human form and wanted to stop Hu Sheng. No one could stop Hu Sheng. She bumped into the Dutian blood seal. When Hu Sheng rushed towards the Dutian blood seal, a white light burst out from her body. Blood, like a gorgeous firework, exploded on the Dutian blood seal. When Abandon caught up, Hu Sheng's body slid to the ground like a puddle of mud. Abandon hugged her tightly. When he checked, his heart turned cold. Hu Sheng actually burned her own soul force. Could it be that she was prepared to die? Hu Sheng, why are you so foolish? Tears welled up in his eyes. Gee, don't be sad to be able to die in your arms. I'm very happy, tell Yin Sheng, to bring my ashes back to the celestial fox tribe. If there's an afterlife, I want to meet you before. Yin Sheng, after saying that, Hu Sheng closed his eyes forever. There was a bright smile on her face, and a drop of dark red tear rolled down from the corner of her eye, like the finest ruby. Hu Sheng, Abandoned, roared at the top of his lungs like a wounded lone wolf. As it turned out, that woman also had a stubborn temper. Kid, hand her over to me. Her blood can strengthen the Dutian blood seal and protect the safety of the continent. Hand over the corpse, and I'll spare your life. Hu Sheng had just died, and her blood could still be used for a blood sacrifice. Even now, Elder Si Ming was still unwilling to give up on the blood sacrifice. Even now, you still want to use her as a blood sacrifice. Temple? How? What a temple? What justice? What protection of the continent? It's all bullshit. You only know how to bully weak women. Don't even think about touching her. Hu Sheng said that she would let Yun Sheng bring her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe. Before Yun Sheng came, he would definitely protect Hu Sheng's corpse. Abandoned was hit by the Sword of Light and was also seriously injured. He was no match for Elder Si Ming. Stubborn. Elder Si Ming was furious. He waved his hand and was about to kill Abandoned. Right at this moment, Abandoned felt a series of sounds like eggshells being peeled off behind him. Elder Si Ming, look! A group of people from the temple trembled as they pointed at the Dutian blood seal. There was a hole in the Dutian blood seal. That hole was constantly expanding. As the hole expanded, a large number of cracks appeared on the blood seal. The Dutian blood seal was about to collapse. What's going on? Why is the blood seal collapsing prematurely? Elder Si Ming was terrified. It only took a hit from Hu Sheng. How could the blood seal be so fragile? He glanced at Hu Sheng. Damn it. This woman burned her soul energy. She wants the Dutian blood seal to collapse. Elder Si Ming used the cruelest method to kill almost 100 demonic beasts. This action completely enraged Hu Sheng. The beast blood of the 8 Wastelands beast clan in her body had finally awakened. She wanted to use her life to take revenge on the temple and the humans who killed countless demonic beasts. Although Hu Sheng didn't know magic or combat energy, she had the blood of the Celestial Fox people in her body. She was also the saintess of the Celestial Fox people. She had a purer soul energy than anyone else. This life energy met the Dutian blood seal formed by the hatred and hostility of countless demonic beasts. It was like fire meeting water or ice meeting sunlight. This caused the already fragile Dutian blood seal to show signs of collapsing prematurely. Activate the blood sacrifice magic circle. Although the most important celestial fox blood was missing, the blood sacrifice magic circle drawn with the blood of hundreds of demonic beasts should be able to stabilize the blood seal temporarily. While the blood seal was stabilized, they had to find another person with the blood of the celestial fox to draw another blood sacrifice magic circle. Abandoned took the opportunity to carry Hu Sheng, whose body was starting to turn cold. He retreated to the side and watched coldly. The magicians of the temple, including Elder Si Ming, gathered together and began chanting together. Within the blood sacrifice magic circle, the blood of the hundreds of demonic beasts started burning like flames, forming clouds of blood mist that surged towards the Dutian blood seal. The blood mist merged with the blood seal and started to repair the gap. The blood seal, which was originally restless, gradually calmed down. The blood sacrifice magic circle is a success. Elder Ming's old face relaxed slightly, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Abandoned? What's going on? Gu Feng and Dongwang Ling are rushed over. The two of them were separated from Abandoned earlier. When they found Abandoned, they only saw Hu Sheng, who was already dead. Hu Sheng is dead. He was forced to death by the people of the temple. Abandoned lowered his head. The people of the temple are inhumane. Hu Sheng is just a weak woman. Why did they do this to her? Dongwang Ling was furious. Dongwang Ling, and Hu Sheng were also friends. Princess Dongwang, what do you mean by that? Everything that the temple did was for the sake of the peace of the continent. Elder Ming saw that the Duqian blood seal was gradually stabilizing, so he ordered the magicians to maintain the blood sacrifice magic circle. Executioner, I've already heard that the temple and the Zhao state are in cahoots. You and the Emperor Zhao in red are the murderers who harmed Yun Sheng and her family. Dongwang Ling spat. Just when Elder Ming was about to explode, a magical radiance suddenly flashed beside him. The Emperor Zhao in red and Peng Lai of Gojoseon arrived one after another. Seeing the Emperor Zhao in red, Elder Ming's old face turned red. He said guiltily, "Senior brother, the mission failed. Saintess Celestial Fox committed suicide. She used her soul energy to open a gap in the blood seal." Chapter 1048. The Emperor Zhao in red looked at the Dutian blood seal. Indeed, there was an obvious hole in the seal. Although it had been repaired, the hole could become a hidden danger at any time. Since one is dead, let's catch another one. There's another way to completely repair the Dutian blood seal. That is to find that B** star from the Yun family. She also has the bloodline of the Celestial Fox. Capture these people. They are all friends of that B** star from the Yun family. With them in our hands, the B** star from the Yun family will definitely come to us. The Emperor Zhao, in red, said coldly. This, Elder Ming, seemed to be worried. She quickly glanced at Peng Lai of Gojoseon. He had already seen that Yun Sheng valued friendship a lot. She would even try her best to save the saintess of the Celestial Fox whom she met by chance. Needless to say, these people were her best friends. When he was in Peng Lai, he was forced to let go of Yun Sheng. This time, he would definitely not let go of Yun Sheng. In order to repair the blood seal, he would kill Yun Sheng. This time, he would not let the Yun family know about it. Right? When Abandoned, Dongwang Ling and the others heard this, their expressions changed. Gu Feng, cover Abandoned and escape. Dongwang Ling didn't dare to hesitate at all. The red-clothed Zhao Huang, Chong Ming, and the Peng Lai king, who was still a friend or foe. Moreover, Qi was heavily injured. Even if she had Dongwang Qin with her, she could only give it her all. They could not become a burden to Yun Sheng. Gu Feng hesitated for a moment. He knew that he couldn't be of much help here. He grabbed green and teleported, wanting to escape first. Trying to escape? The Emperor Zhao, in red, did not chase after them. He only opened his hand and clenched his fingers. In the sky, an invisible magic net suddenly appeared. The magic net was about to trap Gu Feng and Abandon. Seeing this, Dongwang Ling gritted her teeth. She took out Dongwang Qing and started chanting. Dongwang Qing flew into the air and sucked in the magic net. That's... The Emperor Zhao, in red's expression, changed slightly as he looked at the ancient bronze pin with a strange expression. The 8 Barons' divine artifact, Dongwang Qing. Who would have thought that Dongwang Qing had been hiding in the body of Emperor Dongwang's descendant? The heavens are helping me. I would like to see how brilliant Dongwang Qing is. The Emperor Zhao in red was not angry when he saw that the magic prison net was taken away. Instead, he was happy. The Zhao state had been painstakingly searching for the 8 Baron divine artifacts. Finally, he found one. The Emperor Zhao, in red, flipped his hand and waved it. A purple and blue ball of magic lightning appeared in his hand. He then threw it at Dongwang Qing. Thunder God's Break was one of the Emperor Zhao in red's ultimate magic. The ball of lightning carried a terrifying force as it charged toward Dong Wang Qing. Dong Wang Ling didn't dare to be careless. She chanted faster and faster. When the ball of lightning was sucked into Dong Wang Qing's body, Dong Wang Qing shook violently. Dong Wang Ling felt as if she was struck by lightning. She felt a surge of blood rush up her head as she spat out a mouthful of blood. Even if it was an 8 Baron Divine artifact, its effects would be different when used by different people. Although Dong Wang Qing's Dong Wang Qing was powerful, her own cultivation base was too weak. There was a difference of several levels between her and the red-clothed Zhao Huang. The Thunder God's break was incomparably ruthless. Dong Wang Ling was unable to withstand it for a moment. Ling seeing that Ling was injured, Gu Feng's heart was burning with anxiety. Even Qi's expression changed. "I'm fine." Dong Wang Ling held back the blood in her throat and took a deep breath. "Hurry up and leave. We can't let this old man's scheme succeed. You have guts. Unfortunately, you are too weak. You don't deserve to have a divine artifact. Dong Wang Qing, I subordinate, should have it." The Emperor Zhao, in red, laughed cruelly. He teleported and sent a palm strike towards Dong Wang Ling, trying to snatch Dong Wang Qing. However, just as the Emperor Zhao in red was about to attack, an even faster figure appeared in front of him and saved Dong Wang Ling. Peng Lai of Gojoseon? Dong Wang Ling didn't understand why Peng Lai of Gojoseon would save her. "Jirumo, you keep on stopping I. Are you trying to betray Peng Lai?" The Emperor Zhao in red flew into a rage out of humiliation. He almost got Dong Wang Qing, including the Netherworld Ghost Key. This was the second time Jirumo stopped him from getting the 8 Baron Divine artifact. "Rumo, are you crazy? Don't get into a conflict with senior brother," Elder Si Ming said worriedly. "No, with me here, no one can touch her." Peng Lai of Gojoseon, Jirumo, shook his head. "What ingrate? You are really trying to betray Peng Lai. Today, I will help Peng Lai clean up. If I can nurture a Jirumo, I can also kill a Jirumo." The Emperor Zhao in red was furious. "Senior brother, calm down. Rumo is only temporarily bewitched by that woman," Elder Si Ming said anxiously. However, the furious the Emperor Zhao in red and the cold Jirumo ignored her advice. "I, Emperor Zhao in red, use my soul to summon the ancient divine beast. With the power of the divine beast, I will punish the good and punish the evil." The Emperor Zhao in red chanted. From the summoning ring, the sound of a baby crying could be heard. A huge summoning array appeared. "Princess Dong Wang, the 3 of you, please leave quickly. Leave this place to me." In the face of the increasing pressure from the demonic beasts, the Peng Lai king, Jirumo, had a grave expression on his face. Dong Wang Ling, Gu Feng, and the other 2 didn't dare to delay. The 3 of them immediately ran towards the outside of the Dutian blood realm. "Junior brother, you go after them. I alone will be enough." The Emperor Zhao in red sneered. Behind him, the mountain-like figure of a beast became clearer. Elder Si Ming looked at Jirumo worriedly. Elder Si Ming knew Jirumo's character better than the Emperor Zhao in red. Once he made a decision, no one could stop him. Elder Si Ming sighed and went to chase after Dong Wang Ling, and the others. The Emperor Zhao in red's summoning was completed. The Emperor Zhao in red's summoning beast, which was also the only divine beast in the Boundless Continent, finally revealed its true form. The ancient divine beast, Jiao-ing, which had 9 heads and could spit out ice and fire magic attacks at the same time, appeared. It had 9 red heads, but only 1 body. The red heads were like venomous snake heads, constantly moving, emitting a dangerous aura. Jiao-ing, kill him. The Emperor Zhao in red's eyes were red. Anyone who stood in his way would be killed. Even Jirumo, whom he had groomed himself, was no exception. The moment Jiao-ing appeared, it shot out several fire arrows and ice blades, launching a ferocious attack towards Jirumo. Armor of light, grant me the strongest defense. A layer of crystal-like armor condensed on Jirumo's body. Light blade slash, grant me the strongest attack. On the magic scepter, all kinds of light magic attacks emerged one after another. Jirumo was extremely agile. He dodged Jiu Ying's attacks time and time again. But against a divine beast like Jiu Ying, normal magic attacks were useless. Forbidden spell of light, glory of the sun and moon. Jirumo raised his magic scepter when he couldn't defeat Jiu Ying. Chapter 1049. Peng Lai of Gojoseon. Jirumo's magic scepter shone brightly at that moment. A sun and a moon rose in the sky. The sun and moon were lifelike, just like the real sun and moon. It was just that the light emitted from the sun and moon wasn't ordinary light. Instead, it was light that was infused with light magic. It was a super magic light. The Dutian blood world was shrouded in blood mist all year round, and it was dark. The sun and moon that had suddenly appeared in the sky lit up the earth. The Emperor Zhao, in red, saw the sun and moon in the sky. His victorious face was filled with fear. How could it be possible to create a scene of the sun and moon? This kind of magic was no longer a simple esoteric magic. Jirumo actually comprehended a forbidden magic by himself. Moreover, it was the most difficult light and dark magic among all magic. It was a light magic, forbidden magic. As soon as the magic, sun and moon shine together was released, the light landed on the Jiu Ying's body. It was as if it was burned by fire. Blisters immediately appeared on the Jiu Ying's thick skin. When the light landed in the Jiu Ying's eyes, it only felt a piercing pain in its eyes. Its vision turned black, and it couldn't see anything clearly. Jirumo's figure flashed, and his magic scepter turned into a light blade. He chopped off one of the Jiu Ying's heads. On the other side of the Dutian blood world, Gufeng carried Hu Sheng's corpse on his back, and Dongwang Ling supported Qi. The three of them retreated from the Dutian blood world. However, the three of them were still slower than Elder Siming. I don't want to fight with you juniors anymore. Come back with me obediently. Elder Siming saw that the three of them were all injured, but he still refused to abandon them. If you want to keep them, you have to ask for my permission first. A cold female voice suddenly appeared behind Elder Siming. Yun Sheng, Divine Wind, and Blue finally arrived at the Dutian blood world after traveling day and night. However, she didn't expect to see something that she didn't want to see the moment she entered the Dutian blood world. Yin Sheng, you're here. I'm sorry. We weren't able to save Hu Sheng. She died. When Dongwang Ling saw Yun Sheng, other than feeling happy, she also felt a bit anxious. The Emperor Zhao in red and the Dharma Temple still wanted to perform the blood sacrifice. If Yun Sheng appeared now, she would be walking right into their trap. Yin Sheng looked at Hu Sheng's body with mixed feelings. Who killed her? Hu Sheng committed suicide. He didn't want to be a burden to me, so he chose to commit suicide. Before she died, she asked me to tell you to send her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe. Abandon recalled the scene before Hu Sheng's death. He clenched his fists and glared at Elder Siming. Bring her ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe? Yun Sheng was sad, but she also had an indescribable strange feeling. There was a kind of request that one couldn't refuse. That was the request before one's death. Although Hu Sheng had a weak personality, he made a powerful threat before he died. At the very last moment, he set up a trap for Yun Sheng to jump into. When Yun Sheng first met Hu Sheng had already expressed his intention to let Yun Sheng replace him and become the saintess of the Celestial Fox tribe. From her point of view, Yun Sheng was smart and good at scheming. She was also proficient in medicine, magic, and summoning techniques. Compared to her, Yun Sheng was more suitable to become the saintess of the Celestial Fox people. Although Yun Sheng had never been to the Eight Desolate Continent, from the attitude of the Eight Desolate Continent's descendants towards Ling Long, she roughly knew that the Celestial Fox tribe was currently a very weak existence in the Eight Desolate Continent. Hu Sheng asking her to bring her ashes back was probably just an excuse. What he really wanted Yun Sheng to do was probably, but regardless of whether it was a trap or not, Yun Sheng had already decided to bring Hu Sheng's ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe. because she had promised that she would send Hu Sheng back to the Eight Desolates continent. The remnants of the Celestial Fox tribe deserved more than death. Yin Sheng, you've come at the right time. Since you've appeared, this old man won't bother these juniors anymore. Obediently let yourself be captured, so this old man won't have to do anything. Elder Ming was a little resentful towards Yin Sheng. If it wasn't for this woman, Peng Lai of Gojoseon and the Emperor Zhao in red wouldn't be teasing each other so much. Femme fatale, this was a woman like Yin Sheng. What a joke. You want to use me as a blood sacrifice. Why would I obediently follow you? I'm not a fool. Elder Ming, for the sake of the young magistrate of the Dharma Temple, Xiao Wenxiu, I can overlook the fact that you forced Hu Sheng to his death. However, you actually targeted my friends and me. That's your biggest mistake. Yin Sheng's lips curled into a cold smile. Yin Sheng was a person who could clearly distinguish between kindness and hatred. The young magistrate of the Dharma Temple, Xiao Wenxiu, had saved her and her father's lives when she was young. In the Taiyuan ruins, he had given her a magical item that allowed her to escape a life and death crisis. She would always remember Xiao Wenxiu's kindness. However, she would never forget the grudge of the Dharma Temple. You still have a cheek to talk about Wenxiu? He was bewitched by you, that's why. Elder Ming's face twitched the moment Yin Sheng mentioned Xiao Wenxiu. He was about to explode. The sky suddenly lit up. The sun and moon appeared in the sky at the same time. The entire Dutian blood realm was completely illuminated. The light Megas Gufeng couldn't help but be stupefied. He raised his head, revealing an expression of disbelief as well as adoration. This is light magic. Then there was a shrill roar of a beast. That's when Elder Ming heard the roar. His face twitched even more. Is that magic? Yin Sheng also raised her head to look at the sky. There was a blazing sun and a bright moon in the sky. The sun and the moon coexisted. Such a scene did not exist. Could it be magic? Moreover, it was not an ordinary magic. This kind of magic was almost a heaven-defying forbidden spell. Who could use such a heaven-defying magic? Rumo, you actually betrayed your adoptive father, the Emperor Zhao, in red, for her? Elder Ming lost his voice. The power of this forbidden spell had almost reached the realm of slaying gods. Ji Rumo had the intention to kill. Rumo? You mean Peng Lai of Gojoseon, Ji Rumo? This forbidden light magic was cast by him? Yin Sheng did not know that Peng Lai of Gojoseon, Ji Rumo, was also a light magician. Wait, Ji Rumo was a light magician, and what Elder Ming said just now. Could it be? Which stop pretending. Rumo. No, it should be Wenxiu. Peng Lai of Gojoseon, Ji Rumo, is the young master of the temple, Xiao Wenxiu. In order to save your life, he broke off his relationship with the Emperor Zhao in red. Elder Ming was flustered and exasperated. He angrily rebuked Yin Sheng. Peng Lai of Gojoseon was the young master of the temple. Yin Sheng was shocked, but at this moment her body shook violently. The celestial fox Saraira in her body moved strangely. There was a creepy feeling from the bottom of Yin Sheng's feet to her spine. Regarding Ji Rumo's true identity, is there anyone who still guessed? Xiao Wenxiu is not his true identity. Thank you for your monthly votes. Chapter 1050. That inexplicable sense of fear came too suddenly. Yin Sheng couldn't even snap out of her daze. She even forgot to investigate the fact that Peng Lai of Gojoseon was Xiao Wenxiu. However, to everyone else present, this news was extremely shocking. That meant that among the Wuji 5 annualists, Ji Rumo Peng Lai of Gojoseon and Xiao Wenxiu from the temple were the same person. The temple was connected to the Zhao state. Back then, Elder Ming joined the temple after leaving the Zhao state. Coincidentally, Ji Rumo's talent was discovered at that time. As he couldn't summon magical beasts, there was a limit to what he could learn in the Zhao state. The Emperor Zhao, in red, thought that the temple was where magic was concentrated in the mainland. With Elder Ming's protection and Ji Rumo's talent in magic, he would definitely be able to rise to the top in the temple. Therefore, when Jirumo was 6 or 7 years old, he was sent to the temple to learn magic and divination. Since then, Jirumo had another identity. He was Xiao Wenshu from the temple. Xiao Wenshu didn't disappoint the Emperor Zhao in Red and Elder Si Ming's expectations. He had only been in the temple for a year, but he had already broken through to become a sky sorcerer. In order to prevent people from recognizing that Jirumo and Xiao Wenshu were the same person, the Emperor Zhao in Red set up a fire. He claimed that Penglai of Gojoseon was disfigured in the fire and had no choice but to wear a mask. This secret was kept secret for so many years. Jirumo didn't express any objections. However, after that bastard from the Yun family appeared, Jirumo's body unknowingly changed. The Emperor Zhao in Red didn't notice this change, as he had never really cared about Jirumo. However, Elder Si Ming, Jiyu, who had watched Xiao Wenshu grow up, noticed it. In Jiyu's eyes, be it Xiao Wenshu or Jirumo, they were both perfect. He had an impeccable appearance and a talent that was the envy of the world. He had a gentle temperament and was as warm as the spring breeze to everyone. But because it was so perfect, Chang Si-ming sometimes even thought that Jirumo was a puppet without a heart. Just when Jiyu thought that Jirumo would be like this for the rest of his life, Yunsheng's appearance gave Elder Si-ming a glimmer of hope. The puppet began to have a heart. It was also because of Yunsheng's appearance that Jirumo began to go against the Emperor Zhao in Red's wishes. When he was in Penglai, he even begged Elder Si-ming not to expose the identity of the regent of Great Zhou. Elder Si-ming was shocked, but at the same time, he had the mentality of a father. After some hesitation, he finally agreed to Jirumo's request. In his heart, Jirumo had long been like his own flesh and blood. After so many years, Rumo had never asked him for a single favor. At that time, he had a premonition that Jirumo would one day do something shocking for that woman. However, he didn't expect that this day would come so soon. After Elder Si-ming captured Hu Sheng, he wanted to kill her immediately. That way, it could be considered as an explanation to the Emperor Zhao in Red. He didn't expect so many things to happen in the middle. In order to protect Yun Sheng, Jirumo didn't hesitate to break off relations with the Emperor Zhao in Red and use the forbidden spell, Sun and Moonshine Shine. Elder Si-ming looked at the sun and moon in the sky. His heart was in turmoil. For a moment, he didn't know what to do. Jirumo is Xiao Wenshu. However, why is he protecting Yunsheng so much? Dong Wangling had only heard of the title of Xiao Wenshu, the young master of the Law Temple. However, she did understand why the young master of the Law Temple, Xiao Wenshu, would help Yunsheng so many times. Yunsheng, could it be that Xia Si-ming likes you? Dong Wangling suddenly realized. Gufeng, who was at the side, couldn't help but complain. Linger actually had the mood to gossip at a time like this. A strange look flashed past Chi's eyes. A man who was willing to betray everything to protect a woman. If this wasn't love, then what was it? However, Yunsheng didn't hear what her companions were saying. Her entire mind was stuck on that sudden feeling of horror. What was it? Due to the Shinnong eyes and Trillium hand, Yunsheng's 5 senses were much stronger than others. Yunsheng could feel that this was a hidden threat. This threat could change the situation of the entire boundless world. Master, it's the Duqian blood seal. Something is coming out from the blood seal. The Duqian blood seal is going to collapse. Baby sheep and the demonic beasts in the exquisite beast tower were all agitated. Their sensitivity was higher than humans. They could feel that there was a powerful force rushing out from the Duqian blood seal. Impossible. The blood seal has just been repaired. How can it collapse so quickly? Elder Si-ming immediately denied. With the blood sacrifice magic array, the blood seal should be able to last for a few more days. Old fool, the soul power from life ignition caused fatal damage to the Duqian blood seal. The blood sacrifice magic array only repaired the surface layer of the blood seal. Baby sheep anxiously fluttered up and down. Inside the blood seal? Which, ask your bees to explain clearly what is inside the blood seal. Elder Si-ming thought that Bobo sheep was trying to mislead them. Baby sheep, I'm not sure yet. But the other party has a strong, evil aura. Baby sheep made a disgusted face. The only thing it could feel was that the unknown force was very filthy. Celestial Fox's tomb. Something is coming out from the Celestial Fox's tomb. Yinsheng took a deep breath. This could explain why the Celestial Fox's Saraira in her body suddenly acted strangely. But what was in the Celestial Fox's tomb? Yinsheng remembered that there was only a statue of Fox Smoke in the Celestial Fox's tomb. At the moment when Baby Sheep gave the warning. Near the Dutian blood seal, Jirumo and Redcoat Summon, who were still fighting fiercely, felt their eyebrows twitch. Both of them were top experts in the continent. That violent and filthy force was very close to them. They withdrew their hands at the same time and looked at the Dutian blood seal. They suddenly realized that the Dutian blood seal was constantly changing. At the original location of the Celestial Fox's tomb, a blood-red light that looked like a rock was spat out. In the light, there seemed to be a figure. That blood-red light was like a sword that pierced through the heart. With a bang, it broke through the air and drilled out from the bloody hole that was created by the Celestial Fox's burning of spiritual power. At the moment when the light drilled out, a black figure appeared in the light. The appearance of the black figure was gradually revealed. It was a very strange person. It was called a person because he was still wearing a human robe. Although it was tattered, it could still be recognized that he was once a magician. But he didn't look like a human because he didn't walk like a human. His limbs were on the ground, and he walked like a beast. Other than his eyes and mouth, the rest of his body was covered with long fur. Behind him, there were 3 fluffy tails. Chapter 10:51. The strange man, who looked like both a human and a beast, came out of the Dutian blood seal like a bolt of lightning. His speed was unbelievably fast as he pounced on the sorcerers from the temple who were maintaining the blood sacrifice magic array. As the figure flashed past, the sorcerers' faces were filled with horror. There were holes in their chests, dripping with blood and steaming hot air. They had been gouged out while they were still alive. The strange man stood in the air. The 3 tails behind him were particularly eye-catching. His hands were no longer human hands. They were like those of a beast with sharp claws. Several hearts that were still beating were pierced through his ghastly claws. 2 rays of thirst shot out from his eyes, as if he had found the most delicious food in the world. The strange man opened his mouth and swallowed the hearts as if they were delicious delicacies. After he ate the hearts, he did not forget to lick the blood off his claws. The magic power around him expanded by a large circle. This scene fell into the eyes of Jirumo and the Emperor Zao in red. It was exceptionally strange. It tastes so good. I finally get to eat fresh meat. The strange man seemed to have not spoken for a long time. His voice was dry and unpleasant. It was as if a file had been rubbed against glass. The strange man raised his head and saw the Emperor Zao in red and Jirumo. His eyes lit up. He could tell that these 2 people were not ordinary people. The higher the cultivation level of a person, the more delicious their heart would be. After he swallowed it, it would be more beneficial to his magic cultivation. There are 2 more. These 2 look much more delicious than the previous ones. Which one should I eat first? The strange man stretched out his hand and swallowed his saliva in front of the Emperor Zao in red and Jirumo. He seemed to be choosing which one to eat first. Are you a human or a beast? The Emperor Zao in red could not tell the origin of the strange man. A human or a beast? I used to be a human. I also had a human name, Feng Tian. But that's all in the past. The strange man let out an unpleasant laugh. Feng Tian? Jirumo still had some recollection of this name. He was once the #1 expert of the continent's magic elite camp, Feng Tian. However, it was said that this person had gone missing during the trial of the elite camp of the continent. Unexpectedly, he was trapped in the Dutian blood seal. Moreover, he was trapped in the tomb of Celestial Fox. However, wasn't the tomb of the 8 wilderness beast kings only open to those with the same bloodline? Why was Feng Tian able to survive in the tomb of the Celestial Fox? Also, what was with his inhuman appearance? No one knew how Feng Tian entered the tomb of Celestial Fox. He had entered the Celestial Fox tomb by chance. At that time, Yun Sheng, who possessed the Celestial Fox bloodline, had accidentally used a secret passage to leave the Celestial Fox tomb. Coincidentally, Feng Tian had discovered the secret passage. Originally, Feng Tian had only entered the secret passage out of curiosity. Unexpectedly, because Yi Biming had destroyed the tomb of the Celestial Fox, Feng Tian had been unintentionally sealed in the Dutian blood seal by the second elder and the chief of the temple, Si Ming, who had arrived later. In the blood seal, he had been influenced by countless evil auras and gradually lost his humanity. In the tomb of the Celestial Fox, he had no food and could only rely on eating the corpses that had died early in the tomb of the Celestial Fox. Those corpses were all the corpses of the Celestial Fox, people who had accidentally entered the tomb of the Celestial Fox. They had died in the tomb of the Celestial Fox. Over the years, although those corpses were well preserved, they had still changed. Feng Tian had been eating them for a long time, and his body and Dharma soul had also changed bit by bit. Perhaps Feng Tian's luck was good, but he even found some Celestial Fox tribe cultivation techniques among those corpses. Feng Tian struggled at death's door while learning the Celestial Fox cultivation techniques. His body had also undergone some changes. He had slowly turned from a human into a half-human, half-beast monster. The 3 fox tails behind him had also grown after he cultivated the cultivation techniques. They were the wind tail, speed tail, lightning tail, tear tail, and evil tail, slaughter tail. At first, when he discovered that he had become like this, the proud and arrogant Feng Tian had also thought of dying. However, he accidentally discovered that his strength had also advanced by leaps and bounds because of his changes. In a short 3 years, he had actually broken through from the saint-level Dharma King to the Dharma God realm. Moreover, the more he devoured people, the faster his cultivation rose. However, because there were only dead people in the tomb of the Celestial Fox, the nutrition he could obtain from it was limited. Even though he had become like this, Feng Tian still had a thought in his heart, and that was that one day he would rush out of the tomb of the Celestial Fox and find Yi Biming. He still remembered how Yi Biming had humiliated him back then. He wanted to prove to everyone that he was worthy of being called the #1 genius of the continent. Therefore, with that thought in mind, Feng Tian kept waiting for the day when he would be able to break through the Dutian blood seal and return to the continent. This day had finally arrived. Hu Sheng had used his soul power to burn a part of the Dutian blood seal. This had also provided Feng Tian with an excellent opportunity. After searching for a while, he finally found the weakness of the blood seal and rushed out. Finally, he saw the light of day again. Ignorant Junior, Jiao Ying, kill him. The Emperor Zhao in red felt disgusted when he saw Feng Tian's half-human, half-beast appearance. In the eyes of the Emperor Zhao in red, this half-beast existence was even more filthy than the Bakra orcs. The Jiao Ying, who had lost one of its heads, abandoned Ji Rumo after receiving its master's order and roared at the sky. The remaining 8 heads spewed out raging flames. The flames surrounded the 3-tailed phoenix sky, but there was no sign of pain on his face. It was as if he was just enjoying the sun. Divine beast! I have never tasted the blood of a divine beast. Kiki, let's have a taste today. The 3-tailed phoenix sky let out an extremely arrogant laugh. The tail of wind behind him trembled, and his body was even faster than teleportation as he pounced towards the Jiao Ying. The Jiao Ying was like a mound of earth. Compared to it, the 3-tailed phoenix sky's figure was insignificant. However, Feng Tian was not afraid at all. He was like a flea, attaching himself to one of the Jiao Ying's necks. Behind him, the evil's tail tree stood up. 2 rows of sharp, cone-like teeth immediately grew out of its mouth. Feng Tian bit the Jiao Ying's neck and tore with force. The Jiao Ying let out an earth-shattering cry as blood splattered. One of the Jiao Ying's heads had been bitten off by Feng Tian. Damn it! The Emperor Zhao in red could not help but tremble. Within a day, the divine beast Jiao Ying that he regarded as his own life had been injured repeatedly. Ji Rumo, and Feng Tian had cut off 2 of its heads. Now, only 7 of its heads were left. TSK, a beast is a beast. It's still not as delicious as human meat. Feng Tian tore off a piece of beast meat and chewed a few times before spitting it out in disgust. The Emperor Zhao, in Red's gaze, was cold. He roared angrily and rushed towards the sky. However, at this moment, Ji Rumo's expression changed again. Behind him, the Dutian blood seal collapsed. A few sorcerers were killed, and the blood sacrifice magical array stopped operating. The Dutian blood seal, which had suffered heavy injuries, finally could not take it anymore and completely collapsed. Chapter 1052. The collapse of the Duan blood seal was like a skyscraper collapsing. The ripples caused by the collapse of the Duan blood seal affected a wide area. The entire blood realm could sense this unusual change. Everyone was shocked. Only then did they know that baby sheep was telling the truth. In the direction of the Duan blood seal, countless blood-red auras shot out like a rain of swords, piercing into the sky. The blood-red auras pierced into the sky, but they didn't dissipate. Instead, they gathered in the sky. Yin Shang, look, there's something in the sky. Dong Wang Ling trembled as she pointed at the sky. The sky of the Duan blood world was like a lake that had countless stones thrown into it. First, ripples appeared. Those ripples were still expanding. As the ripples intersected, they formed vortexes of auras. In the vortexes, fully armed, demonic beast soldiers crawled out one after another. These beast soldiers were all half-human and half-beast, looking extremely rough. The leading 100-man bull warriors had the lower body of a bull and the upper body of a human. They held heavy axes in their hands. At this moment, another huge vortex appeared in the sky, and a hooded priestess wearing a colorful beast god priest robe appeared from it. The priestess took off her hat, revealing a charming face. Her eyes were deep, and her body was enchanting. She looked down at the land that had once brought endless humiliation and blood to the 8 barren tribes. She greedily took a breath. The air of the Duan blood world was filled with blood, but to her, it was as sweet as rain. How many years has it been? Boundless land, we're finally back. We're back. We're back. Warriors, you're the vanguard of the 8 barren tribes' invasion of the boundless land. Before the leaders of the 8 tribes arrive, we'll trample on the experts of the boundless land and slaughter them like ants. The priestess finished her words. Nearly 100 ferocious barbaric bull warriors shouted in unison. They swooped down with weapons and magic staffs in their hands. Like countless fleas, they descended from the sky. They were like bulls with red eyes. Their eyes were bloodshot as they charged toward the periphery of the Duan blood world. Elder Siming and the others felt like their guts were about to explode upon seeing this. The Dutian seal collapsed. The Dutian blood world was in chaos. How could this be? Chang Si-ming was shocked, his body trembling uncontrollably. Of course, the magical beasts of the 8 Wastelands Beast Clan. Not good. I'm afraid that the collapse of the Blood Seal has given the Ba Huang tribe an opportunity to form a space vortex. We have to stop them as soon as possible. Otherwise, once the Ba Huang tribe invades on a large scale and rushes out of the Blood Beast world, the entire mainland will be plunged into a hellish slaughter. Yun Sheng and the rest looked at the Ba Huang beast soldiers that kept coming out of the vortex, their hearts exploding. No, we need to repair the Dutian blood seal as soon as possible. Elder Si-ming was still stubbornly stubborn as she kept mumbling. Look at the situation now. Are you counting on the Dutian blood seal? Yun Sheng glared at Elder Si-ming. Then, what should we do? Elder Si-ming asked. The situation had gone out of control. How many people does the temple have in the Blood Beast world? Also, Divine Wind, how many elf archers can you deploy in such a short time? Sister Lan, please go to the relay station at the outskirts of the Dutian blood world and gather all the people you can. We have to think of a way to seal the Dutian blood world. The more difficult the situation was, the calmer Yun Sheng became. Her personal grudges with the temple and the Zao state had to be put aside for now. Yunsheng's calmness also made the panicking people calm down. Elder Si Ming's face turned red. Yunsheng's reprimand had enlightened him. The temple did not have many mages in the Duqian blood beast world. There were at least 50 to 60 mages that could be deployed. As for the Dutian relay station, there should be some adventurers from all over the world. The number of elven archers that Divine Wind could deploy in a short period of time was over 100. However, it would take at least a few hours to deploy the manpower. In this hour, how should they deal with the priestess and the bull warriors? Could they only rely on Yun Sheng, the injured Dongwang Ling, Gufeng, Qi, and the others to fight against 100? Moreover, that priestess of the beast god, Altar, was clearly not a weakling. Yunsheng looked around. Ling, and the other two nodded in unison. Leave it to us, Yunsheng replied confidently. Facing so many enemies, she was not afraid at all. Time seemed to have returned to the time when she was in the elite mage camp. At that time, she also fought side by side with her companions. Elder Si Ming, Divine Wind, Blue, and the others did not hesitate. The three of them split up and rushed in different directions in the Dutian blood world. At this time, Gufeng had already performed a simple light magic treatment on Qi. Yunsheng placed Hu Sheng's body in the Ling Long Beast Tower. The spiritual energy in the Ling Long Beast Tower could keep Hu Sheng's body from rotting for the time being. Yunsheng planned to wait until the crisis in the Dutian blood world was over before cremating Hu Sheng and sending him back to the Celestial Fox tribe. Rise to the sky. Yunsheng was in the middle, and the other three were on her left and right. Magic wings of different colors appeared behind the four of them, and they rose into the sky together. In the sky, the priestess was commanding the bull warriors to attack the beast blood world. Fifth priestess, there are human auras ahead, for reckless humans are approaching. The bull warrior in charge of the lookout quickly caught the whereabouts of Yunsheng and the others. It turned out that after the plot of the Zao state's first summoner was exposed, the high priest of the beast god, Altar, issued a war order. The third and fifth priestess of the beast god, Altar, led the vanguard, and the chiefs of the 8 tribes selected the elites of each tribe to attack the Dutian blood seal. Originally, the beast god, Altar, thought that it would take some time to attack the boundless continent. After all, the Dutian blood seal still needed some time to collapse. But due to a freak combination of factors, Hu Sheng burned his soul power and Feng Tian broke out of the celestial fox tomb, causing the collapse of the Dutian blood seal to happen earlier. The fifth priestess, who was skilled in spatial magic, took the opportunity to lead her troops into the boundless continent using spatial magic, becoming the first batch of 8 wilderness bee soldiers to reach the boundless continent. She thought that her operation this time would be undetectable. Who would have thought that the humans would discover her before she even launched the attack? The priestess looked around and saw 4 young magicians blocking their way. After seeing the faces of the 4 people, the priestess was surprised. Among the 4 mages, the female mage in the middle was also a summoner. Magicians from the boundless continent. The priestess swept her seductive eyes across the 4 of them. In the end, her gaze landed on Qi, who was handsome and had an extraordinary temperament. Chapter 1053. The fifth priestess had always been arrogant, but this time she could not help but take a few more glances. The 4 of them had decent cultivation levels. They were young, and even the weakest among them was a sky magician. 2 of the girls were even prettier than her. Since when did the boundless land have such outstanding talents? Except for the handsome man, the others have all been captured, especially the 2 women. This priest wants to capture them back and give them to the 3rd priest. The 5th priestess of the beast god, Altar, did not take them seriously at all. She had to admit that the cultivation levels of these young magicians were decent, but they were just decent. They were too few in number and would not be able to make a difference. She was only the vanguard of the 8 wilderness tribes' invasion of the boundless land. As the blood seal crumbled, more spatial cracks would form. Yes, 5th priestess. After hearing the 5th priestess's instructions, The wild bull bee soldiers could not help but sympathize with the four pitiful magicians. Unlucky fella. Of all people, he had to meet the fifth priestess. The 8 priestesses of the beast god altar were all supreme existences in the 8 wilderness continent. Their statuses were similar to Elder Si Ming and Emperor Zhao. Other than the 8th priestess, who died because her identity was exposed, the 5th priestess was the most attracted to men. It was rumored that the secret to her beauty was to suck the essence of handsome men. As for the 3rd priestess, she liked beautiful human female slaves the most. In the 8 wilderness continent, countless indigenous women were tortured to death by the 3rd priestess. The 5th priestess and the 3rd priestess had a good relationship, so every time the 5th priestess found a beautiful human female, she would snatch her to the 3rd priestess. Wait, I want that sheep on your shoulder. The 5th priestess's eyes lit up as she stared at the baby sheep on Yun Sheng's shoulder. A pink magic beast? The 5th priestess was a woman, and she usually liked pink things the most. The Bobo sheep had soft fur that was naturally curly and had a pair of fleshy wings. It was indeed very popular with women. Moreover, a magical beast like the baby sheep was unique in both the Boundless Continent and the 8 Wastelands continent. No wonder the 5th priest took a liking to it. Baba, you are the sheep. Your whole family are sheep. This world deity only looks like a sheep and has the word sheep in my name. This world deity is not a sheep. When the sheep heard this, the curly hair all over its body stood up as if it had been electrocuted. A coquettish orc woman actually dared to covet its beauty. Apart from his master, Yun Sheng, no one else could understand what he was saying. Needless to say, it called itself a world deity. After all, its appearance was that of a sheep. Want it? Then exchange it with your life. Yun Sheng's voice sounded faintly. Her voice sounded gentle, but when she said the last word, as she spoke, Yun Sheng's magic scepter vibrated slightly. A dark thorn that was like a sharp knife pierced through the skull of the bull beast soldier standing at the front. The wild ox beast soldier's heavy body fell down like a collapsing wall. But just as the bull beast soldier fell to the ground, there was another wave of magic waves. On the originally flat ground, sharp earth thorns drilled out of the ground. The bull beast soldier's body was instantly pierced like a hedgehog. It cannot be more dead. The whole process happened in the blink of an eye. And the whole process was caused by a seemingly harmless female sorcerer. The 5th priestess narrowed her eyes. The charming smile at the corner of her mouth disappeared. Her eyes revealed traces of coldness. Amidst the murderous intent, there was also a hint of surprise. Yun Sheng and the rest stood in the air. The 5th priestess looked over. Yun Sheng's figure did not move. She did not even chant, and had already launched 2 waves of magic attacks. Even the priests of the beast god altar would find it difficult to do so in such a short time. But she did it. This woman had rich battle experience. The humans of the Boundless Land were completely different from the cowardly indigenous people of the 8 Wastelands. Interesting. You actually dare to kill my people. Originally, I wanted to let you go on account of your face. Now, it seems that there is no need for that. Captain Bull, listen to my orders. Whoever kills that female sorcerer, I will bestow 10 drops of holy water from the beast god altar. The 5th priestess was also angered by Yun Sheng. She glanced at them and confirmed that Yun Sheng was the leader of the 4 sorcerers. The holy water from the beast god altar was similar to the water of life in Yun Sheng's immortal holy grail. It could purify a sorcerer's dharma soul and the warrior's physique. But because it was rare, only the priests of the beast god altar could possess it. Once they heard that killing a female sorcerer would be exchanged for 10 drops of holy water, the bull beast soldiers cheered like a tidal wave. They did not hesitate to surround Yun Sheng. The 5th priestess smiled sinisterly. Once 100 bull beast soldiers surrounded her, that female sorcerer would definitely be chopped into minced meat. This was the consequence of angering her. The sudden stampede of bee soldiers gave Ling, and the rest a shock. They rushed forward to save her. Handsome little brother, you are mine. You are so handsome. If you were to be destroyed by those boorish bull bee soldiers, my heart would ache. The fifth priestess giggled and appeared in front of Abandon. She raised her finger and was about to tease Abandon. Abandon's handsome face was full of disgust. Without a word, he greeted her with a cloud of poisonous fog. Hee, you actually know how to use poison magic. But this kind of magic, I like it better. The fifth priestess teased. With a wave of her sleeve, a small whirlwind blew away the poisonous fog. On the other side, Yinsheng was also surrounded by nearly 100 bull beast soldiers. The bull beast soldiers waved their heavy axes. Countless axes were like a flood, fiercely crashing into every corner of Yunsheng's body. It looked like Yunsheng was about to lose her cabin. At this time, a summoning array appeared under Yunsheng's feet. In the blink of an eye, the winged beast ants buzzed. They came out from it. The sky was filled with beast ants. The number was hard to count with the naked eye. Under the command of the centipede ant general, the ant colony crazily pounced on the bull beast soldiers. Although the beast ants were small, they were very fierce. They were best used to deal with the bull beast soldiers. Oh! With a burst of excited barking, Xiao He pounced on the bull beast soldier and bit his tail. Hey, 100-legged ants, take it easy and go easy on us. You should at least give us a chance to show off. The enchanting knight demon queen and the little elven queen followed closely behind. Chapter 1054. The infamous 100-legged ant general among the magical beasts was actually called a 100-legged little ant. Only the demon queen of the night demon would dare to call it that. In fact, although Yunsheng had many magical beasts and all of them were very powerful, they got along very well. But occasionally, the magical beasts would have a conflict, and that was the problem of who would be the first to fight each time. This problem was also called the Q problem by Yunsheng's magical beasts. Magical beasts were naturally bloodthirsty and warlike. When they encountered a good thing like a fight, they wished they could grow a few more legs. But often, they couldn't win against the 100-legged ant general. Even though the 100-legged ant general was the smallest of all the demonic beasts, it was still a force to be reckoned with. Yinsheng had the number one rearing artifact, the exquisite beast pagoda. The spiritual energy in the beast pagoda was abundant, and the reproduction of the 100-legged ant general was even smoother. Now, it had countless ant children and ant grandchildren, and it could summon more than 100,000 ant soldiers at once. Generally speaking, even a martial sage would be caught off guard when 10,000 soul-devouring ants swarmed up. The soul-devouring ants drilled into the wild bull beast's internal organs and intestines through their noses, eyes, and mouths. After a while, the wild bull beasts were all howling and rolling on the ground. The wild bull captain's situation wasn't much better. Xiao He had bitten it from head to toe, and it was dripping with blood. There wasn't a single piece of meat that was unharmed. Here's our chance. The night demon queen beamed with joy. She chanted, and many night demon warriors appeared behind her. The warriors raised their sharp elven spears and rushed towards the wild bull beasts. The elf queen kept shuttling through the crowd of beasts. Whenever she encountered a wild bull beast that were not dead, she would cast a frost spell and freeze them into an ice sculpture. As for Yinsheng, she stood at the side with a leisurely expression and looked on coldly, acting like a hands-off shopkeeper. The fifth priest, who originally wanted to capture and abandon them, heard the commotion. He turned around, and his face instantly turned pale. What was going on? Where did these strange magical beasts that were rare even in the 8 Wastelands continent come from? Could it be that these were all the magical beasts of that female summoner? Impossible. How could a summoner summon so many magical beasts at once? There was the ferocious Xiao He, the enchanting and sinister knight demon queen, and the beautiful blonde woman who was responsible for the last hit in the herd of beasts. She seemed to be a king-level elf, and there was also a ferocious ant clan beast general. These magical beasts were mighty like a torrent. Nearly 100 bull beast soldiers were completely defeated. Are you scared now? Those are Yunsheng's demonic beast army. Isn't the 8 desolate tribe very impressive? With Yunsheng alone, She can fight against 10,000. Dong Wangling heaved a sigh of relief. She had almost forgotten that compared to magic, Yunsheng's summoned beasts were truly formidable. With these magical beasts around, they could at least hold on for a while before the others arrived. Under the battle of Yunsheng's demonic beast army, the bull beast soldiers were either killed or gnawed into bones. Very quickly, only the fifth priestess was left. But the strange thing was that in the end, even after the bull captain had fallen, the fifth priestess did not have any intention of retreating. A poppy-like smile appeared on Rao Li's beautiful face. That smile was especially irksome in the eyes of everyone. It's really an eye-opener. I didn't expect that in the Boundless Continent, there would also be an existence that could become a general-level summoner. Moreover, it's a female summoner. The fifth priestess used a completely different gaze to size up Yunsheng. In her eyes, there was no longer the look of contempt from before. At this point, the fifth priestess no longer thought that the person she met was just an ordinary female summoner. If it wasn't her who came today, she was afraid that the first vanguard team of the 8 Desolate Tribes Invasion Army would really all fall here. General level summoner? It was the first time Yunsheng heard such a title. What? As a summoner, you haven't even heard of general level summoners? That's right. In a place like the Boundless Continent, I'm afraid that there might not even be a general level summoner in 1,000 years. I heard that back then, the first pope of the Zhao state, who once fought against the 8 desolate tribe leaders, was an outstanding general level summoner. The fifth priestess shook her head. The powerhouses of the 8 desolate lands who created the 8 desolate divine artifacts had already fallen many years ago. The Boundless Continent had already fallen to the point where even general-level summoners were not known. Such a boundless continent was simply too weak to withstand a single blow. General-level summoners were a type of summoner, but they were different from ordinary summoners who could only contract 1 magical beast and at most could not contract more than 2 magical beasts. General-level summoners could control at least 3 magical beasts at the same time. Only such summoners were qualified to be called general-level summoners. General-level summoners were about 1 in 100 people in the 8 desolate lands. However, even general-level summoners could control different grades of magical beasts according to the control of their Dharma souls. What surprised the fifth priestess the most about Yunsheng was that all of Yunsheng's magical beasts were holy beasts. Moreover, Yunsheng could control them very easily. This was very rare even in the 8 desolate lands. Perhaps 1 in a million people might not even be found. According to the fifth priestess's knowledge, other than the first priestess, only the 8 desolate god summoners of the 8 desolate tribes in the 8 desolate lands had such divine power. However, this woman looked so young. She definitely could not have reached the terrifying power of the 8 desolate god summoners. It's a pity that you are a human. Otherwise, you could have become a disciple of our leader. He would have been very happy to accept you as his disciple. The fifth priestess lamented. It was a pity that such a talented female summoner was going to die in her hands today. There's no need to feel pity, because the dead won't feel pity. Yunsheng waved her hand, and Blackie, the 100-legged ant general, the night stallion queen, and the elven queen all landed beside her. The fifth priestess alone definitely did not have the ability to block the attack of so many magical beasts. Wrong, female summoner. Sometimes the dead are the scariest, because only the dead are not afraid of death. The fifth priestess let out a ghostly laugh. In her hands, there were 2 bone staffs that looked like magic scepters. However, the 2 bone staffs were very small. They looked like the forelimbs of some kind of young beast. They looked as if they were made of jade. They were emerald green, and when the fifth priest held them in his left and right hands, they looked somewhat awe-inspiring. Everyone then realized that in the battle just now, the fifth priestess did not use any magic scepters or weapons. However, what were the 2 bone staffs used for? Perhaps seeing the confusion in everyone's eyes, the fifth priestess chuckled. Because of your outstanding performance just now, you are qualified to know my name. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am the fifth priestess of the beast god Altar, Lin Yun. My main witchcraft is corpse sacrifice. Cold, low efficiency. Chapter 1055. The status of the beast god altar in the Eight Desolates continent was similar to the status of the combination of the Dharma Temple and the Zao state in the Boundless Continent. However, compared to the Dharma Temple that specialized in magic, the priests of the Eight Desolates continent's beast god altar specialized in witchcraft. Witchcraft could also be understood as a side branch of dark magic, just that witchcraft was also added into it. The 8 priests of the beast god altar, each of them had their own unique witchcraft. For example, the first summoner that died in Punlai, he specialized in the witchcraft of fusion. As for the 5th priest, she was a corpse sacrifice. Corpse sacrifice? Could it be that she was a priest that dealt with corpses? Such a delicate and beautiful priest actually specialized in dealing with corpses? Yun Sheng and the others looked at each other. Stop pretending to be mysterious. Listen up, if you don't want to die, quickly scram back to the 8 Desolates continent and never step foot into the Boundless continent again. Dong Wang Linger only wanted to quickly make this eccentric woman in front of her disappear. Yinsheng couldn't help but frown. She thought to herself, to be able to be sent as the vanguard of the 8 Desolates tribe, this priestess called Lin Yin definitely isn't that simple. The Boundless Continent originally belonged to us, the Bakra Orcs. It was because of the cunning of the humans that the Bakra Orcs were tricked and chased out of the Boundless Continent. The Bakra Orcs have waited for thousands of years. How can I, the priestess, give up so easily? It's also time to let you all see how powerful I am. The 5th priest, Lin Yin, smiled. She pretended to be careless as she played with the 2 jade-like bones in her hands. The 2 jade-like bones lightly knocked against each other, and a series of ding-ding, dong-dong-dong sound could be heard. After experiencing such a cruel massacre, hearing such a pleasant melody that was like a clear spring, one's mind couldn't help but relax a little. Although there wasn't any music accompaniment, the sound of the jade-like bones knocking against each other actually formed a death rhapsody. When the music entered their ears, everyone felt that their heartbeats couldn't help but quicken. They felt as if they were suffocating, and breathing became more and more difficult. Yun Sheng and the rest did not know that they had unknowingly fallen into the lich music played by the 5th priest. The predecessor of corpse witch music was a special music used for funerals in the 8 Desolates continent. At first, it was just a very ordinary piece of music, but it was accidentally discovered by a great mage that there was a mysterious power in the lich music. That mage had fused the dark witchcraft and created a lich music that was neither a spell nor a combat technique, but had terrifying power. Corpse witch music was very destructive. It could cause a person's will to be depressed and their heart to beat faster. Unknowingly, it could cause a person to be immersed in grief and despair. Some people would even commit suicide after listening to corpse witch music. The 5th priest looked at the few of them who were immersed in the music. His eyes were blank, especially goofing and abandon. They were immersed in some kind of sorrowful emotion and had completely lost their will to fight. As for Dong Wang Ling, tears were streaming down her face. She recalled how her father was assassinated and how her elder brother had turned into a retard. As for that female summoner, the 5th priest's dance suddenly stopped. On the face of that female summoner, that pair of eyes that were as dark as the night was looking straight at him. How is this possible? She's actually completely unaffected by corpse witch music? Indeed, corpse witch music wasn't effective on everyone. In front of 2 types of people, corpse witch music wouldn't be effective. The first type was that the other party's strength was obviously higher than the corpse witch music. The second type was that the other party's willpower was unprecedentedly strong and wasn't affected by corpse witch music at all. That female summoner obviously didn't belong to the first type. Could it be that her willpower was so strong to such an extent? The reason why Yun Sheng was able to resist corpse witch music was because she had lived 2 lives. She was a healer. To her, the life and death of a person was much more indifferent compared to other people. Moreover, within her body was the relic of the celestial fox people Long Huyen, the Bakra Orcs who was once known as the strongest in magic. Why would she be afraid of a mere priestess of the beast god altar? What is there to be afraid of? Yin Sheng's black eyes became even deeper. She calmly took out the Millennium Ice Zither. This fifth priest was unlucky. Yin Sheng's Dihong song happened to be the biggest nemesis of corpse witch music. Once Dihong appeared, all the evil spirits retreated. Her fingers moved, and on the zither strings, a sonorous and powerful zither sound rang out like thunder. The zither sound was exciting and powerful, directly striking people's hearts. Ling, Gu Feng, Qi, and the others who were originally in a daze and had no fighting spirit felt as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over their heads. They quivered and woke up. The jade bone rhythm in the fifth priest's hand was shocked by the zither sound. He lost his grip, and the jade bones knocked together. On the jade bones, there was an additional hair-sized crack. Once the crack appeared, the music stopped. Ling, and the others then realized that they had almost fallen into the fifth priest trap. You actually dare to damage my corpse king bone staff. The fifth priest did not expect that the other party's zither skills would be so good as well. She was actually able to wake up people who were listening to corpse witch music, showing off your slight skill in front of an expert. Your corpse witch music is only SOSO. Yun Sheng pressed on the zither strings. The light of a firefly wants to compete with the brilliance of the moon. I will let you all know the true power of the 8 desolate beast god altar. Yun Sheng's words angered the fifth priest. She laughed strangely. As soon as she finished speaking, the fifth priest tore off her clothes. Under the wide priest robe, there's almost no need to describe her beauty. Her skin was as white as snow. Her arms were as white as jade. Her legs were slender and powerful, and her feet were like jade. The fifth priest, Lin Yun, had a graceful figure. Only a few vital parts of her body were covered with a light gauze. Seeing this situation, Gu Feng and Qi both involuntarily blushed. The two of them did not know whether to look or not. For a moment, they actually did not know how to deal with it. Demoness. Seeing this, Dong Wang Ling angrily glared at Gu Feng. The latter was so scared that he quickly lowered his head and put on a serious look. Hee, you're embarrassed? What's even more erotic is yet to come. The fifth priestess made a seductive action. Her waist swayed leisurely as she danced. As she danced, the more intense her jade-like movements became, the faster the fifth priestess dance became. However, the scarier scene was yet to come. As the fifth priest danced, the corpses of the bull beasts that were originally lying on the ground and killed by the magical beasts suddenly moved as if they had come to life. Their movements became more and more intense. Crack, crack, crack. The corpses of the bull beast soldiers all stood up. Kill them. The fifth priest glared at the demonic beasts. The corpses of the beast soldiers pounced towards Yun Sheng and the others. Chapter 1056. Resurrection from the Dead was undoubtedly absurd. These beast soldiers had been devoured by Yun Sheng's centipede ants. Not to mention their flesh, even their intestines had been devoured. But what was happening in front of them? How could the beast soldiers that had been killed earlier all come back to life? Yun Sheng and the rest were horrified. But when they took a closer look, they quickly realized that these bull beast soldiers were just walking corpses. Their eyes were dull, and their eyeballs were already turbid. As the Duqian blood seal collapsed, more and more of the evil aura in the blood seal spread. They either surged towards the middle and outer regions of the blood world or scattered towards the sky. The bewitching power of the fifth priest's lich dance became stronger and stronger. Those beast soldiers that had lost their consciousness and only listened to the fifth priest's orders pounced forward like moths to a flame. They were like mad dogs, recklessly attacking the 4 people and the magical beasts. The centipede ant generals and ant soldiers pounced forward. But these beast soldiers were either left with white bones or did not know pain. They were completely unaffected by the attacks of the Soul Eater ants. Warriors of the Night Charm. Attack! The Night Charm Queen gathered many Night Charm warriors. The elf tribe's arrows turned into a rain of arrows. The arrows were densely packed and pierced into the bodies of the beast soldiers in rows. They looked like hedgehogs. But the bee soldiers that were shot into hedgehogs only paused for a moment before they continued to charge forward mechanically. These bee soldiers that had died long ago but were controlled by the Lich Dance were completely unafraid of all kinds of magic attacks and poisonous fog. They were unaffected by force or persuasion. Little Green, abandoned, shouted. Little Green came out with a whoosh. Its petite body quickly grew in size. Its snake tail coiled around 3 or 4 beast soldiers and twisted. With a few cracking sounds, the 3 or 4 beast soldiers that were made of white bones were instantly crushed into powder and fell to the ground. Everyone was overjoyed when they saw this. But who knew that just as the powder fell to the ground, the powder quickly gathered again to become the skeletons of the beast soldiers again. Moreover, every time the beast soldiers died, their battle abilities became sharper and their attacks more ferocious. As time passed, the humans and the beasts began to show signs of fatigue. After all, they were still humans. Even if they had elixirs to replenish their energy, there would come a time when they would run out of energy. Aha! Ignorant humans, these corpses are invincible. Soon you will be exhausted. Don't worry if you are killed. I guarantee that I will make you into the most outstanding corpse soldier specimens. The fifth priest's charming eyes were indescribably enchanting. As a corpse sacrifice, the fifth priest's most powerful technique was to control the corpse bee soldiers. She also had a fetish. Whenever she met an enemy whose appearance and strength satisfied her, she would torture them to death and make them into zombie specimens. Just the thought of having a whole new batch of corpse bee soldiers, and such outstanding ones at that, made the fifth priest's blood boil. She let out a complacent laugh, which made people's scalps tingle. Become a zombie soldier specimen? What the hell was that? Fear could be seen on Dong Wong Ling Er's face. She didn't want to become a zombie that was neither human nor ghost. But what could they do? These corpse beast soldiers were too terrifying. They were like centipedes. No matter how they were attacked, they would still come back to life. Corpse sacrifice was too terrifying. However, after fighting so many battles, the 4 of them were already exhausted. Even Yunsheng's beasts were showing signs of fatigue. If they still couldn't find a way to repel the corpse bee soldiers, they might really die here. Yunsheng frowned. They couldn't go on like this. Gu Feng used the sphere of light to defend first. Helpless, Yunsheng could only let Gu Feng use the sphere of light to temporarily stop the corpse bee soldiers. Gu Feng chanted, and a ball of light the size of a tent enveloped the 4 of them and the magical beasts, temporarily blocking the corpses of the beasts outside. The sphere of light contained powerful light energy. When the corpse bee soldiers saw it, they were like beasts encountering fire. They were very afraid and retreated to the side. But even so, the corpse bee soldiers were unwilling to completely retreat. They paced back and forth outside the sphere of light and let out strange cries at the people inside. Those cries were like owls in the night, carrying a sense of fear of death. Hee, I didn't expect that there would be a light magician among you. What a pity! It's just a useless magician who can only defend and not attack. The fifth priest continued to provoke them when he saw that they were caught unprepared. These monsters seemed to be very afraid of light magic. If only I knew a powerful light magic attack. Gu Feng's face was full of regret. For Gu Feng, not knowing how to use light magic had always been his regret. This caused him to be in a very passive situation when facing enemies. The corpse beast soldiers were undead creatures that were derivatives of dark magic. If at this time, Gu Feng had a powerful light magic like Xiao Wenxiu in the temple, he was confident that he could annihilate these corpse beast soldiers. Although Yunsheng had a 5-elemental magic soul, she didn't know any light magic. Facing these corpse beast soldiers, she was also helpless. Could it be that they were going to be trapped here alive today? Yunsheng's eyes flashed as she suddenly thought of something. Gu Feng removed the sphere of light. Time was of the essence, so Yunsheng didn't explain much. Although the other 3 didn't know what Yunsheng wanted to do, they were already used to seeing Yunsheng as the leader. Gu Feng immediately removed the sphere of light. As soon as the sphere of light was removed, the corpse beast soldiers surrounded them again. The four of them could already smell the stench of corpses in the air. I'd like to see who is more powerful when corpse which music meets corpse puppet technique. Yunsheng sat cross-legged and said in a voice that only she could hear. Since she couldn't kill or hit them, she would take the initiative and turn these corpse bee soldiers into her own. Yunsheng's hand once again plucked the strings of the zither. You don't know what's good for you. You still want to resist at this time. Your zither music is good, but it's only an ancient battle song. It's useful against humans and magical beasts, but it's useless against my corpse bee soldiers. The fifth priest said disdainfully. The corpse bee soldiers were getting closer and closer. The leader of the barbaric bull soldiers leaped forward and pounced on Yunsheng. At this moment, Yunsheng's fingers moved and her black eyes turned golden. The sky suddenly darkened. It was as if the sky had been split open by someone, and there was a golden crack in the clouds. In the crack, a closed eye suddenly appeared. The eyes slowly opened. It was a pair of golden eyes. Suddenly, the golden eyes emitted a dazzling golden light. The golden eyes seemed to contain infinite divine power. Under the golden light, the corpse bee soldiers all stopped in their tracks. The fifth priest, who was still dancing, staggered. There was a trace of fear in his eyes. What the hell is that? Chapter 10:57. After the golden pupils appeared, even Dongwang Ling, and the others were unable to open their eyes due to the golden light. While everyone was in a daze, they heard a voice. The voice was between a woman's and a man's. It was a bit tempting and also had a bit of power. Eyes of the Golden Lion, you ignorant undead, submit to me. The golden puppet eyes was comprehended by Yunsheng after she fused the Di Hong song with the corpse puppet technique. Its power was one level higher than the corpse puppet technique. After the celestial fox, it was the second awakened celestial fox inheritance. Compared to the corpse puppet technique, the golden puppet eyes had a wider range of use. Not only could it be used to control an individual, it could also be used to control a group. These corpse bee soldiers could be used as Yunsheng's first batch of test subjects. If the other celestial fox people knew about this, they would probably be shocked, because most of the celestial fox people only awakened the second celestial fox inheritance after they were baptized in the beast god altar. Moreover, there would usually be a gap of more than 10 years between the awakening of the inheritance. However, Yunsheng only used 3 years. A symbol similar to the golden eyes appeared on the foreheads of nearly 100 corpse bee soldiers at the same time. As soon as King Tong appeared, the fifth priest felt that his control over the corpse ox bee soldiers had been completely severed. The corpse wizard dance's power was not small. However, if the corpse wizard dance was forcefully interrupted by an external force, the power of the backlash was also not small. The bone staff in the fifth priest's hand broke into 2 pieces. No, my corpse king bone. The fifth priest's eyes were like a poisonous snake. Hatred flashed across her face. What she was most proud of was her ability to control corpses. After losing the corpse king bone, she would not be able to control the corpse soldiers in the future. The corpse soldiers were like wildfire in the prairie, wave after wave of them. Facing so many traitorous corpse bee soldiers, the fifth priest knew that she would definitely lose this time. You should have never tasted the feeling of being killed by your own corpse soldiers. Harming others will eventually harm yourself, Yunsheng said indifferently. She could kill the fifth priest with her own hands, but she disdained to do so. She wanted the fifth priest to suffer the consequences of his own actions. This priestess hasn't lost yet. A hazy red mist suddenly appeared in the air. The figure of the fifth priest suddenly disappeared, and the corpses of the beasts lost their target. They were like ants on a hot pan, circling around in circles. Hidden blood mist. Master, this priestess is also a water mage. Be careful. The elf queen's blue eyes flashed. At this moment, a blood shadow appeared in front of Yunsheng. It was still holding half of the corpse king's bone staff in its hand. It aimed at Yunsheng's back where her heart was and ruthlessly stabbed down. The king corpse bone staff was incomparably hard, and the broken king corpse bone was like an incomparably sharp dagger. The fifth priest hated Yun Sheng to the bone. She had already used all of her strength to stab Yun Sheng. Faced with such astonishing speed, the beasts around Yun Sheng were defenseless. Die! The fifth priest went crazy, and the king corpse bone staff stabbed into Yun Sheng's back. But at this time, Yun Sheng's long hair suddenly condensed into a strand. Like an iron wall made of molten iron, it stabbed into the fifth priest's chest. Almost at the same time, a white light exploded from Yun Sheng's body. The white light smashed the fifth priest dozens of meters away. The violent magic was like a heavy hammer, smashing the fifth priest's body into meat paste. The fifth priest's eyes were wide open, and her gaze was fixed on Yun Sheng. That is the power of the Sorara. You are a celestial fox. Before the fifth priest could finish her words, a bull corpse soldier had already rushed forward and chopped off her head with an axe. The head rolled away, but the eyes were still wide open. Until her death, the fifth priest still couldn't believe that she would die in the hands of the corpse soldier that she was most proud of. Until her death, she still couldn't understand why the celestial fox people, celestial fox Sorara, would appear on the body of this famous summoner. Huff, huff. The sound of rapid breathing was exceptionally clear in the deathly silence. The fifth priest, Lin Yun, had died. After going through a life and death crisis, the four of them were still in a daze. Gulp. Someone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Gu Feng and the others still had their eyes wide open, staring at the fifth priest's corpse in disbelief. They still couldn't believe that the fifth priest was really dead. That was close. Dong Wang Ling, could still feel her heart beating rapidly. Just now, when the fifth priest pounced on Yun Sheng, she really thought that Yun Sheng would be killed. Yun Sheng, what should we do with these things? The fifth priest asked, and the corpse soldiers were like a group of dragons without a leader. Keep them. I will have a use for them later. It was the first time that Yun Sheng used the golden puppet eyes, so she couldn't use too much of her magic power in a short period of time. However, in order to prevent the others from worrying, Yun Sheng didn't tell them about her current situation. Although the fifth priest was dead, the blood seal had collapsed, and there would definitely be a large number of people from the 8 desolate tribe who would barge into the boundless land. She could make good use of these corpse soldiers, and she believed that they would be of great use. My dear master, this woman has a lot of good things on her, and there's also a spatial magic scroll. Popping Sheep flew forward and searched the corpse of the fifth priest. He took out a lot of good things from the fifth priest's corpse. That spatial magic scroll was the fifth priest's personal collection. She used this scroll to be the first person to barge into the boundless land. Yun Sheng held onto the scroll. With this scroll, she could escort Hu Sheng's ashes back to the celestial fox tribe. Other than the spatial magic scroll, Yun Sheng also found a large number of land deeds and some magical bee soul stones on the fifth priest's corpse. There was a flurry of footsteps. Elder Si Ming and Godwind happened to be leading 2 groups of people from the north and south of the Dutian Blood Beast world. Elder Si Ming thought that he would see a cruel battle, but he didn't expect that the battle had already ended. When they saw the corpse soldiers that were emitting a dark aura, the people of the temple pulled out their magic scepters as if they were facing a great enemy. Don't worry, I've already subdued these corpse soldiers. I plan to use them to clear the evil aura and blood cloud beasts in the blood beast world. Elder Si Ming had a strange expression when he heard that Yun Sheng could control these dark creatures. Elder Si Ming, I know what you want to say. It's just that the Dutian blood beast world is full of evil aura and blood cloud beasts that have gone berserk. Someone needs to clear them out. Normally, people who come into contact with evil aura will go berserk and lose their rationality. But these corpse soldiers won't. Black or white cats, a cat that can catch mice is a good cat. Yin Sheng said calmly. Elder Si Ming snorted. This time, he didn't say anything else. Subconsciously, after witnessing Yun Sheng stopping the first batch of 8 Baron Tribes vanguard, Elder Si Ming already had a premonition that this woman in front of him could be the person who would bring about a major turning point in this crisis. Leave all the injured behind. After the rest are treated, follow us into the Duqian blood seal. Yun Sheng adjusted her breath for a moment. She also wanted to know what the hell came out of the celestial fox tomb. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.